a football Monday. And it is a real football Monday because Friday, believe it or not, we have NFL football. Hall of Fame game, Canton, Ohio. What? Unbelievable. Shoulder pads today. We're just about in full gear as the ramp up continues in the NFL. What was the mantra that the NFL Network had over the weekend? Welcome back. And that's what it was. It was welcome back, football fans. We are here, which is great, man. I mean, absolutely awesome. I hope all had a great weekend. An NFL football game will be played on Friday. I cannot wait as we ramp up towards the exhibition season. Again, folks, you know, you're like, Sills, what do you? Well, because you have some job openings. You got a lot of job openings here, especially on the defensive side of the football. We're going to go over what the coach said, Nick Sirianni. Kevin Patulo spoke also. Players spoke. Bunch of topics. Packed show today. 3:30, Xander in his normal spot. At 4:30, Gary Cobb, and then Howard Eskin will join us. That'll be at 4:30. Got a bunch of people lined up this week for you guys. I mean, some big names. As always, by the way, I got to start it out by thanking Merrill Reese. The conversation we had with Merrill Reese went viral when he showed the autographed cleats that he ended up getting from and gifted from Jalen Hurts. And it really is cool. I got people even saying Sileo was like a fan. I was, man. I was a fan of what I saw. I thought it was pretty dope, man. You know, I mean, if you go back and watch it, it's incredible. And it's blown up. Sports Illustrated, everybody's picked the story up. We're very thankful for that. And we're thankful that Merrill shared that with us. He showed us the ring. He showed us, you know, the cleats that he gave. I mean, no one else had that story but us. That's original content that you get here at JAKIB. And really, I mean, no place else are you going to get that. So, I mean, I thought it was awesome. I really did. We start the show off. Oh, my God. Jalen Hurts had a C- today at day 4 at camp. He had a pick. Holy cow. What is happening? A C- and shells and shorts and helmet. What are we to do now? Unbelievable. What are we to do now? Jalen had a C-. Hey, man, I mean, you know, I'll go with J.J. Redick on this. How do you know he's not working on something? They're working on some things. By the way, I'll make this point to you. What you're trying to do is you're trying to push it as much as you possibly can to see what you can't do. That's what to me, I'd rather see a shitload of picks because that means he's testing the parameters of what he can and can't do with his wideout. That's what I'm flexing on with you. I think that's a good sign. I don't think that's a shitty sign. I'm not worried about Hurts in the exhibit. Last year, the guy made it sound like he was going to throw for 5,000 yards. And it really had no bearing on his season whatsoever because they changed and flipped the script on being a running team. It had no bearing that, in my opinion, today the Q had the interception on Jalen Hurts. So hit the like button. I hope all had a great day. Today is day 4. And as you know, we got a bunch of people out there. And I had a great conversation prior to the show. And a little bit of the takeaways on day 4. Okay, how about this? There's no doubt that the offense today must have been work here. And I'm going to paraphrase it this way. Just so you know, I'm going to paraphrase it this way. Today, the offense did not win the day. The offense did not win the day today. Now, what does that mean? They're probably working on new installations. I find it hard to believe that a defense with 5 openings for a job competition is a better unit than that offense. I do not believe that. So you have to take everything into context here. The defense won the day today. I wrote some notes down here. And the offense, quite frankly, over the weekend into today, did not look as sharp it did in the first couple days of training camp. So over the weekend, I didn't think, from what all reports were, that folks that were out there said that they did not look all that sharp offensively. Now, again, what are you working on? That's something I don't know. Maybe when John comes on, because John's out there, they'll have more of an insight on what they were working on. I'm not concerned. I'm just telling you what they were doing. Could it be installations? Could it be other things that they're trying to improve the offense and evolve the offense? More likely than not, that's it. Okay? So what I'm telling you here, take everything into consideration on where they are here on day 4. Again, I wrote down some things and some cliff notes here. Hurts threw his first interception at camp, and it was an underthrown pass. Okay, so this was a bad pass by Hurts. Again, nobody get their panties in a bind. Nobody is here. This is when you want to do things right now to try to test the parameters of where your offense is. It's no judgment here on this. We don't know what they're working on, okay? So you have to be careful. Again, who won the day? We have a topic with that. Who won the day on day 4? All right? And, it was from what I'm understanding, it was a back foot throw. And, again, it ended up where Q ended up getting the interception in the football game. Okay, so last year, if you are looking at some of the stats that they had in the game, Hurts went about 300 throws where he did not have an interception. Ringo's still second team, getting burned apparently. We're going to get to all this. So let me give you again who won the day here. So let me continue here. Now, the offense didn't do great in situational football as well today. Hurts was sacked on 4th down by Ajomo. Okay? On a red zone snap, Hurts ran the ball in for a touchdown. But again, they did not look very efficient down in the red zone. The coverage on the day seemed to be really good, especially in the secondary, which is a great sign. There were a few throws out there that Hurts did well, obviously. But again, Hurts was definitely cooled off since his first 2 practices. So the defense won the day today here on day 4. Who won the day? Q or Moro Ajomo? And if I had to pick, I'd pick Q on who won the day. Now, to one of our great viewers here, Keely Ringo's getting killed in camp almost every single day now. And I don't know if it's positional. I don't know if it's tracking. I don't know what's going on. But he's sliding down in the progress of the secondary. Adoree Jackson is rapidly winning that job. Now, again, a lot of football. Before you start getting ahead of yourself, and me too, look, let's get the full gear on. Let's get them both in practice. Okay? Let's get them in. I'm even telling you guys, okay, let's let this thing evolve. I'd rather be beat now. I'd rather figure out what it is. Hey, I said this last week. Either he's going to win the job later in the year or he's not going to win the job. We're going to find out in the first 4 weeks of the season, or maybe even find out in training camp, that Keely Ringo's not the guy. Now I see why they didn't go to him a year ago when they needed a guy to play out there on the corner, and they went to Isaiah Rodgers. So, and by the way, get this. He's getting beat. This is not me in an opinion. Okay? Get this. Reyes, he's getting beat. There's no evaluating. He's getting beat. He's getting beat on second team. Who said he was good? Who said he was good? By the way, he's getting beat. Okay? Who said he was good? You did. I never did. I think they're dudes. Who said they were good? The only people who said they were good are you. Hey, Xander, did we miss Kyle's super chat? If we did, Kyle, we apologize. Supers go to the top. Sills, when I was a kid, me and my parents went to Disney, patted me on the head, and it was the great Hulk Hogan. Well, hopefully you went in the wintertime and not the summertime, because it's almost unbearable in the summertime when you go to Disney World, bro. Not good. Okay. That's cool. We must sign or trade for a corner, too. I miss Slay Sills. I told you guys this. Now, again, it's early, but they're both getting beat. Prince will tell you somebody's a shutdown corner when they're in zone. Sure, okay. Common sense is not there with that. See that post? How can you be a shutdown corner when you're 10 yards off the ball? How in the world can you be a shutdown corner when you play zone and not man? Prince will try to tell you something that ain't true. He's a wait, I'll tell you what I'll do. Hey, Prince, he's a shutdown corner in zone. Sure. One-on-one drills? He's never man in a game. He's never man in a game. You're running man drills when you don't play man on the field. Oh, he's a great player. If that's what you're saying, Prince, he's a great player. There's no doubt about it. I can't be more wrong about the guy. Prince, you're dead on. He's really good. By the way, Prince, I think he could possibly be a really great man corner if they ever really went and played a lot of man. Okay? I mean, absolutely true. Folks, what do you make of that? That your corners and your corner twos getting killed. First week of practice. Getting killed. You all right with it? Actually, I'm all right with it. I'm all right. Thanks, Prince. You're my boy, man. We're good. I mean, how you feel about it? How do you feel about it? First week. The guy you told me was going to be a shutdown corner and be a Pro Bowler and be a good football player is getting beat. Everyone in this chat called me crazy about Ringo. Well, then me and you, Leon, were pretty much on the same page, because I never told you I thought he was going to be good out there. Just because you're a great athlete, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be a great corner. A lot of that shit's wishful thinking. That shit's wishful thinking. That somebody's going to play like Slay out there. Thanks, Leon, for the super chat. Hit the like button, guys. So we're going to go over what the coaches, Nick Sirianni, especially Kevin Patulo, had to say last couple days. Players also spoke. Day 4 went to the defense, surprisingly. And we'll talk Cooper and Q. All right? And a couple other things here. So anything you guys want to bring up, do me a favor. Get this. This shit's crazy. They got beat. Hey, Masturbator Eagle. What do you not need to know? They got killed 4 straight days. What do you not need to know? What do you not need to know? Huh? Tell me. What's crazy? They got beat? Yes. A lot of people took a dump on me for calling him Keely Bingo. How you doing? Hang in there, though. Hang in there. The kid may end up winning the job later in the year, like I said, getting more reps, getting beat. Gotcha, brother. Okay? We lose a game, the world is going to go crazy. I don't look at it like that. Dude, you're going to lose games. As long as you don't lose the game. Nobody cares. Depends. By the way, I would say this, depending on how you lose that game, RC3. Okay? I mean, depending on how you lose it. So, yes, corners and safety right now are a concern for me. How many days until September 7th? What is it, 39? So let's take a look at this. How many days? I'll do the old-fashioned way. How many days until September 7th? 41 days. You got 41 days to figure this out. You think that's enough time? September 4th. You're right. You got 38 days to figure this out. Bro, just put Coop at corner 2 and Ringo at safety. Do a flop? I like that. You got 38 days to figure this out. Do you think Ringo starts week 1? Yes or no? Do you think Keely Ringo starts week 1? See this right here? Nolan Smith looked like a bust for 30 games. Yeah, you had Brandon Graham and Hassan Reddick playing in front of him. You had more time here. Keely Ringo, you have a Dory Jackson, and that's it. You had more depth then at edge. Brandon's telling you, hey, Nolan Smith had 30 games, which is true. You had more depth at the edge with Brandon Graham and Hassan Reddick. You don't have that affordability right now at corner. You don't. You don't have that. Younger doesn't mean better, dude. Younger doesn't mean better. I mean, so wait a minute. You think that Keely Ringo is a better ball player than Slay because he's younger? That's your contention? That's a stupid take. Nobody's given up on him. I just told you, he may end up winning that job later in the year. I'm not giving up on him. I don't think that I think this guy needs a shitload of reps to figure it out. Okay? Get this. This guy started camp at first team. Book it. And now he's second team. Book it. How you doing, Arthur? He got dumped down in the depth chart. So he's going to evolve back up into the depth chart. Is that what you're saying? Get this. Making it up. He says that I'm making this shit up that Keely Ringo and both the Dory Jackson are getting beat in practice. Bro, that's not made up. That's not fucking made up. You don't want to hear it, is your problem. You don't want to hear it. So there's so many ways to make toast these days. Traditional, French, Ringo, and a Dory. Dude, I'm still okay with what they and where they are. I want to see the kids get into the exhibition season. Okay? I think they need reps. I don't think Adoree Jackson needs reps. There's no excuse for that guy getting beat. However, hey, by the way, that kid you guys got from Carolina, holy shit, he may be the surprise of camp. That Terrence kid from LSU, I mean, that may be the goldmine find of this camp. That kid looks like he's going to push Jahan Dotson for time. Big Sills, what would you and Jerome do to Christian Wilkins if he tried to kiss y'all's forehead? Dude's a weirdo. Hey, man, that ain't happening in the locker room. Yeah, I don't think so. We're going to have a wrestling match right there in the middle of the locker room. That ain't happening. Yeah, this Terrence Marshall kid, like AJ said, he's going to make that room uncomfortable, and he is. Ringo can't even start in practice. Ringo's toast. Hang on. Look at me defending my take that I think the kid's not going to be a starter this year. I'm saying hang in there. Let's get him into a couple exhibition games. Let's see what the dude does. Hey, I got to tell you, Brandon, I think this Marshall might be your wide receiver 3. Because he deserves playing time. People are saying this guy's opening people's eyes in training camp, and he's been one of the surprises in camp. Has been Terrence Marshall. Dude, that's a great thing. That's making your wide receiver room way better. Dotson, full year at camp. Terrence Marshall, looking like a player. You're now kind of helping if one of your guys goes down that you have quality players there. Dude, that's a good thing. You got 4 receivers that I feel pretty good with now. That's good. You created depth. I don't know well, then again, dude, it's Carolina. What the fuck are they doing in Carolina, right? I mean, this guy Terrence Marshall's making, like AJ said, the room feel uncomfortable. I mean, I like it. Yeah, these dudes right here, I mean, I don't know. Sure. I will give the Eagles credit. They've given Enos Smith and Johnny Wilson, they've given those guys opportunity to make the ball club. But Terrence Marshall is putting these guys to sleep. To put them in a chokehold. Yeah, he's choking them out right now. Okay? He is. All drama. Hey, I like this. This is good. Are coming out in the offseason here. I get it. New content. Wilkins story. I'm glad Stafford's good. I like to win because we're just that freaking good. Kimbo, thank you. Thank you very much. Yo, Sills, you never answered. Is Barkley retired by Wales or traded when he's not a cup of tea kind of fucked up season after last season? Not sure what that means, Oz. Kind of word it there so I can understand. I'm not as smart as you. Kyle, thank you so much. This is dope of you, man. I appreciate all supers. Go right to the top. Seals, me personally, I would not start Ringo till at least the Denver game. Plus, with the 2 safeties, DeJean and Marshall, could it hide the deficiencies at cornerback number 2? Maybe. Okay? But I tell you what, Terrence Marshall has gone off my list of the land of misfit toys to being, hey, who is that dude? That's kind of how Zach Bond came up into the world of Big Sills. Hey, he's a dude. Then he goes, who is that dude? Then you went, wow, look at that dude. That right there is what you want your wide receiver room to look like. Okay? Good stuff there. All right. I want to get to Kevin Patulo first. So let's get to Kevin Patulo. Then we'll go to Nick. Nick spoke today. Then we'll do the players. I got to tell you, guys, almost every single one of my predictions looks like they're going to start panning out. I don't think Trotter's starting week 1. I just don't. I'm not even sure he's going to be the rotating linebacker. Munden's looking great in camp. Okay? We'll see. Ringo, I'll be shocked if he's a starter week 1. I will. I'll be shocked. Now, they may have to because of the numbers. Okay? They may have to. So, to me, a lot of job openings. Nick said it today, too. There's a ton of job openings. Let's see here what Abe says. Ooh, Clint Hurt got something cooking then, huh, Sills? No comment. Got to be careful with that one there, my friends. Okay? Adoree Jackson right now is a better football player than Kelee Ringo. Keely's a better athlete. Now, how you have to weigh that is this. Okay, who's got more upside? Get this. I said last Friday that Jahad Campbell should start in the opener. I never was a fan of Trotter. Who said I was? I said Munden should start if Jahad doesn't start. Senor, stop fucking lying. I believe in Ringo. Just give him playing time. That could be, Park. Haven't seen something get dominated in practice like Ringo has been since the last Lisa Ann video I saw. She was getting work, but at least was consistent. Very nice, Leon. Very nice. Okay, but I tell you what, this guy's on Pornhub a lot. And then this guy wants, hey, $5? He gave me $5. He gave Joy $1.99. Bro, I don't know. You know, I mean, I told Joy, didn't even pay for a pina colada tip, dog. She says, Sills, you know me. He didn't even give me a tip when it came to don't smoke in bed. Hit the like button. Supers go to the top. Hey, Leon's my boy, though, man. Boy, man. And Leon started a lot of shit overseas. Norway, Portugal, Chile. The headline in the Chilean. Kelee Ringo getting beat. See what Leon did in the Chilean? Front page, Kelee Ringo in Eagle Camp's been getting beat and worked all week long. Like Lisa Ann. Oh, my God. Let's get to Kevin Patulo. Colombia, the Colombian. I don't know, man. Right? Xander will join us at 3:30. We will have Gary Cobb at 4:30, and then our friend Howard Eskin will join us at 5:30. Hit the like button, guys. Appreciate all of you. All right, let's get to Kevin. My takeaway from Patulo at the mic, boy, he seems really comfortable. He looks like a potential head football coach. I don't know what kind of talent he has and how good he's going to be, but he conducts himself like a head coach. He does. He conducts himself like a guy who's in charge. I felt pretty good about that. You know, there's some guys that, you know, you look at the guy, you listen to the guy, and you're like, that guy's full of shit. Until proven otherwise, he's full of, like Nick's first press conference, he was full of shit. But Nick has gotten better behind the mic. You know, I mean, he's gotten better, and he's getting better. He was better today. Kevin, like, is ahead of Nick as a guy in front of the microphone. He's pretty cool in front of the mic. And by the way, he seemed really confident talking to the media. So I liked him. I hadn't really heard Kevin Patulo talk, but I felt pretty good with him talking in front of the media and how he was addressing stuff. By the way, he was really open. He had a Vic Fangio type attitude to himself where when he was talking, he wasn't as sharp as Vic, But he answered some pretty good questions, as direct as he possibly could. Okay, so I don't know, man. I liked it. And he was asked, how much different is it this year now that you've gone from being like, an assistant head coach and a guy who was designing plays to being the main guy? And he said, look, not a lot of difference. I'm pretty much doing the same thing. I got to spend more of my time in multiple rooms, wide receiver, tight end, O-line, backs, quarterback. So I got to kind of go around the room a little bit, and I've got to let everyone know because I've got to get a sense of where everyone is so we can all be on the same page. He says it's a ton of fun. I'll tell you the one thing I like is his energy. I like his energy. And that's what I took away from his very first press conference. For me, having heard him, was that his energy is contagious. I felt pretty confident after that. Like I said, I don't know what kind of coach he's going to be, but I felt pretty good listening to him. He said we're going to go up tempo. Jalen Hurts performs exceptionally well in up tempo. I think when they go up tempo, I think you keep personnel on the field. And I think that's something that they had to have seen a year ago. Every single time that they went up tempo, I think that team performed well offensively. And I think that's one of the things that ran the Ravens off the field and also the Steelers off the field was when they went up tempo. And he said that they're going to try to do a little bit more of that. And I like that. He was asked a question about streamlining. This is important because this comes down to terminology. Some guys want to put new things in and new wrinkles in, okay? They want to put new wrinkles in their offense. He said they streamlined the terminology. Fucking great. They went simpler, which means it's less complicated. That's perfect. They're going less complicated. They want to take some of the... Here's something that I'll always tell you about John Gruden's offense. John Gruden's terminology, in my opinion, gets to be a little bit too technical. 38 triple sound with a waggle, G, orange, 43-78, deep pattern, wheel route. It's too much. On a 25-second play clock, you're down to fucking 12 seconds when you get that shit in. And then you've got to retain it. You've got to hope everyone else retains, especially in the pass protection. Remember, folks, when it's too complicated, Jalen's got to get to the line of scrimmage, right? He's got to fucking bark that play out in the huddle. Then when he gets to the line, he's got to see what the defense is doing to set protection. So before he can even set the play, before he can audible out of it, you're down to 10 seconds that you got to make a decision. Do you audible out? Do you check out of it? Where's the pressure coming from? Is it the right play? He's got a lot of responsibilities before he even gets to pre-snap. And then he's got to be cognizant of post-snap defenses. That's a lot of shit, man. So they're streamlining it. I think that's great. Simpler, the better. Gives you more time in the huddle. And what else does it do? It gives you more time at the line of scrimmage to be able to see where protection needs to be set. I'm a huge fan of that. These high technical offensive coordinators with all the jargon and all that bullshit, that's why you see a lot of teams. Dude, the worst thing you can have is a pre-snap penalty for delay a game. Those aggravate me more than anything on the planet. Because it has nothing to do with ability. It's just getting the play in on time, getting the play called in the huddle. Think of this. Look, 25 seconds you have per play, right? Okay? 25 seconds. Okay? 25. Get in the huddle. Clock starts. 24, 23. You got to go through the play. Calling the play, you get the play, snap the huddle. By the time you get to the line of scrimmage, you're already at 15 seconds. Jalen's got to look around. He's got to look for pass protection where he thinks that the pressure's coming from. Him in the center have to work on. You're down to 6 seconds. You say hut, you're set. Now you're committed to the play. You want that thing to be at 10 seconds to give your quarterback more determination, more of a decision making whether to get out of it or not. It's going to help him streamlining it. I like it. He's going to be on the sidelines. Okay? It's true. I don't know where people said I like Trotter. I thought he was okay. I think he's going to be a good special teams guy or a good ball player. There's a reason he went in the 5th round and he ran a 4.8. He's not fast. And in that defense, you've got to be able to tackle in open space. Like, Trotter's going to have problems covering. He's going to have problems covering guys because he's not fast. He's not a fast guy. The other guys they have in there, Campbell, Munden, who else? Bond, they're all quick. He's not fast. And so dropping in coverage will be a problem for him. He'll have to have a lot of knowledge of the defense. Now, can he get away with it? We'll see. I mean, Dean is an athlete. I never said I thought Trotter was a frontline linebacker. Could he be one? That's all of you in Philly saying that. A lot of people like him. I hope he makes it. Be a great story. I don't know. I think people want to see the guy playing because his last name is Trotter. I don't give a shit. I want the best guy to win the gig, and so does Vic. You think Vic gives a shit his last name's Trotter? He don't. He don't care. May the best man win. That's how he looks at it. Hurts has got more confidence. I think the coordinator guy gives him to that confidence. I think this has become a trend in the NFL. You want to hear something? Guys, how many coordinators has this been for Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia the last 4 years? How many coordinators? I think this is becoming a theme. How many coordinators? 4. 5? Jalen Hurts has had 5. Baker Mayfield has 8 consecutive coordinator changes in the last 8 years. I think this is a league thing that's happening. I do. I think this is a league thing. Jalen Hurts is not the only one that this is happening to. Okay? Baker Mayfield has had 8 straight coordinator changes. This is becoming a trend throughout the league. So when people want to circle that and say, well, Hurts has had all these coordinators, there's a ton of quarterbacks that have had coordinator changes. That's not my point. He's had 8 straight different coordinators. That he's had to pick 8 straight different offenses up. And I'm saying it's a league thing. And I know he's been traded and I get it. He still had 8 different coordinators. And multiple teams. Not my point. I'm not telling you Baker Mayfield's better than Jalen Hurts. I'm just saying it's a league thing. That's right, Mike. I think this is now the trend. That the NFL moves on from coaches very quick nowadays. Guys, do me a favor, hit the like button here. Let's continue here with Kevin Patulo, who I like. They're talking about Tyler Steen. Tyler Steen. Again, what's this guy here? It's becoming an NFL thing. Okay. They really want Tyler Steen to win this job. And Patulo says he's doing a nice job. Not really a massive ringing endorsement. You know what I'm saying? I'll tell you this. You could tell the difference when they were talking about Tyler Steen and when they brought up the name A.J. Dillon. Okay? Here's what they did. When he brought up the name and someone brought up A.J. Dillon, he goes, that guy's a different dude, man. He's a different dude. He's big. And what's surprising is that you fucking love the fact that he can catch footballs out of the backfield. He's a big dude. And you saw the difference talking about Tyler Steen versus talking about A.J. Dillon. A.J. might be a factor if he's healthy, man. He might be a big factor here. All right? They have talked about the Barkley workload. Okay? They have talked about it. And he's like, he brought up, the offseason conditioning, Barkley. He goes, it's going to be more game. I think they're going to be more cognizant of if they've got teams put away, that they're going to take Barkley out. The chances of Saquon Barkley rushing for 2,000 yards, there is no way in fucking hell he's getting near that. Because they're not going to give him the amount of touches. They need that guy in December, January, and February, if so fortunate. They don't need that guy. But again, they're going to monitor, in my opinion, I think he is going to be on a pitch count. He's going to be on a pitch count, Saquon Barkley. And get this, as long as that 6 yards a carry doesn't come down dramatically, he's still the same dude, though, from the 2,000-yard season. It may not look it, but if Barkley is still in that room between 15 and 23 carries every game, 15 to 23 carries. If you get him 20 carries, okay, first 10 ball games, you got 200. You're talking about 350 in that room, 340. Maybe you amp him up a little more later in the year if he's healthy. I think he's on a pitch count. I think Vic likes Ringo. I don't think cornerback might be a spot. Do you think he may move him to some linebacker package with his height and athleticism? You might move him into the nickel and flip him like somebody brought up earlier and put Cooper out there at the corner and put Ringo in the slot. That might be something to think about. You don't have to turn your hips as much and you're not tracking as much playing in that nickel. And put him on the field in nickel. That might be his position. Not sure yet. I want to see the kid with reps. It's not going well for him out there. It's just not going well. It's too early, though, but it's not going well. How about this? You want to get a guy out to a fast start who's a first-time starter, who hasn't seen a lot of reps? You want to see that guy get out to us? Good start? He hasn't. When is Joy back on? I miss her already. Some of you guys, man, need a blow-up doll. I mean it. Me and Xander are like, some of you guys need a shower after she was on. Holy cow. I like this A.J. Dillon. He might be part of a pretty good rushing attack. Let's see. There's going to be fullback. The owner kind of he took you behind the curtain earlier in the offseason here when he said that there were going to be some fullback plays. So I do believe that there's going to be. All right? I think they're going to go there with that. A.J. Dillon. God, he's a big dude. Let me get to Nick. He's a big dude, that dude. So let me go to Sirianni. Sirianni spoke today. little bit of coach talk. Jalen's getting more comfortable and he's improving. So, okay. Interesting comment he made about Kevin. His job is to get everybody in the right place. That'll be the number one thing that I'm looking at. Getting everyone in the right place. That's his number one job. Okay? He thinks Jalen is getting the football out of his hands quicker, which is great. Ringo will get his first pick in Dallas. Okay? That's if he plays. Jalen Carter was out there today. I'm under the assumption, according to my friend, he was out there today playing. So people were worried about because they held him out of practice over the weekend because of his shoulder. I think they're just being precautious. No reason to put that guy in the firing line. He said Tyler Steen, you know the word is with Tyler Steen, he's doing a nice job. I'm not sold on that. I think that's a bunch of coaches talk. I really do. I think Steen's got an open battle. I think he's taking all the first team reps because they want him to win. But quite frankly, nice job. I mean, did they talk like that about Becton? Hey, he's doing a decent job. I don't really think he's getting a real big endorsement. I think that, you're hearing people say he's picking it up. He's getting better. Okay. Have to be in great shape. We got a lot of things out here. I believe that they're really taking more of an emphasis on being conditioned, more so than getting reps in the camp. I like it. Get this. This was his comment. The linebackers, it's an open competition. Now, obviously, Zach Bond is not an open competition. So there's no doubt you have an open competition at corner, at linebacker, and I'm thinking you got one at guard. Okay? I'm thinking you got one at guard. So the safety position, obviously that has to still fill itself out. I think they feel pretty good about the 2D linemen. From what I'm being told, they feel pretty good what they're doing down there with the replacements for Milton Williams and for Josh Sweat. They feel comfortable. I don't think they feel comfortable at linebacker, safety, and corner. That's just how I'm hearing it. Someone may have a different opinion on this, but I'm talking to one of the coaches. So when Nick says there's an open competition for that other spot, Trotter's not going to win that job. He's not going to win that job, I don't think. Heard Angel Reese Brown was locked in Guantanamo Bay today. Also, I told you, bozos, that Sid's the guy. Also, Jihad is a very big dude. Pause. Hey, I'm just saying to you, man. Look at this. Heard Angel Reese Brown was locked in Guantanamo Bay today. I told you, Boz, that Sid's the guy. Okay, we'll see. There's no doubt, man. They got an open competition at that safety, corner, linebacker, and I think the guard position. So, Pump right here saying his boy Sidney's going to win it. Makuba? I don't know. Not overly impressed with him. I'm not impressed with Keeley. I'm not impressed with Sidney Brown. Again, let's get him into camp more. Let's get him into games. Let's get him into controlled environments, practices, scrimmages. Let's see how that pans out. And let's see what Vic says. Okay? We'll see. So let's go to the players. Overall, I like Kevin Patulo. I did. I liked Kevin Patulo. I'm all right. I don't know what kind of coach that makes him, but he had a presence about himself. I felt pretty good about it. I mean, you could tell he's been in the building a long time. You could tell he's got a great relationship with Jalen Hurts and the rest of the players. You get a feel with it, and then it does seem like a seamless transition. Now again, we'll see how that plays out when it comes to situational play calling. That is going to be a completely different conversation. He may be a great guy. He may be a guy that fits in. That doesn't necessarily mean he's going to be a good play caller. That's nothing to do with it. So we'll find out. All right. So let's go to the players. And let's go to A.J. Dillon. Big dude. Football dude. Football player. There is no way the Green Bay Packers wanted to get rid of that guy. But they had to because of his injury history. I mean, dude, if that A.J. Dillon. So let me go over here for a second. And let me take a look at A.J. Dillon here. See what kind of career he's had. A.J. Dillon. I'll show you something here. Now, again, his quarterback is arguably one of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the sport for the majority of his career. But, I mean, look at this. 800 yards rushing, 770 yards rushing. This is a backup role to Aaron Jones. And 613 and 23. Didn't play for 2024. But in a time when the guy was really the last 3 years, you're talking about a guy with 2,400 rushing yards. I mean, this guy's a backup. I mean, that's pretty damn impressive. He's an impressive football player. 4.5 yards a carry. That's above the Mendoza line of 4.2. And he's a backup. I dig this guy. I really do. I dig this guy. I think this guy's going to be a good football if he can get on the field. And he's a big dude, man. And you even hear the coordinator talking. That's just a different guy. Hit the like button, guys. Xander's going to join us at 3:30. Then we have our friend Gary Cobb, and then we're going to have Howard Eskin. That'll be at 5:30. Okay? See this guy here? You see this guy? This guy is a donkey. Anybody who's a backup running back who gets you 800 yards, and had, get this guy here had 800 yards with 2 games started. 700 yards with 3 games started. You think that's pretty good for a guy that comes off the bench? You think that's pretty good for a guy that started 2 ball games? Every year he's been in the league, he's been north of 700 yards, and he's only started 2 games. That's in a backup role with limited carries. I think that's pretty good. Quinyon Mitchell is being overlooked despite being a first-round pick, as most discussions focus on Cooper. I see Mitchell having an all-pro season. Very hard to be all-pro when your corners are zone corners. You're not going to get first-team all-pro from a zone. Those guys are going to be reserved for man cover corners. You understand that, right? Do you get that? Players are going to be more towards the guys who are zone. Man than zone on first team all-pro. You get that, right? Or no, you don't understand that. You probably don't because you've never voted. I have. That will always be something. Now, good point, Prince. That will be yes. Prince, that'll change the room. Bradbury was second team. I just fucking said, very hard to be first team All-Pro when you're playing zone. Once again, try listening. You can't, Damon. You never do. Okay? First team All-Pro. Now, to Prince's point, traveling, that will help Prince. If he's traveling to the best receivers on both sides of the football and they're switching like that, okay, there's no doubt that that will play a factor on how somebody may vote him to the first team All-Pro team. Seals, would you use a committee approach, use Barkley as primary and then Shipley as backup to him and Dillon on the goal line? No way Barkley's rushing for 250-plus attempts. I think he's still going to hit up near 300 attempts. Trev, I still think he's going to hit up there. Okay? I do. I think it'll be by committee once you put games away. If you put games away, okay? And get this. Okay? Let's see here. Are you suggesting that Quinyon Mitchell is better than Richard Sherman? You're fucking drunk. Q's a good player. He ain't no Richard Sherman. Not yet. Are you fucking drunk? He's Richard Sherman. Okay. Now he's Richard Sherman. Hit the like button, guys. Appreciate you coming aboard here. All right. Jahad Campbell had a chance to talk. I thought it was cool watching and listening to him talk. He likes the fact that he's out there right now. He goes, I have to know what I'm doing. He's right now focused on middle linebacker. He goes, I'm where my feet are. And this is correct. Pump's right. He was not only a zone, he was truly an amazing press corner. They play both with Pete Carroll. That's correct, Pump. You're out of your mind if you think Quinyon Mitchell is in the room with a guy who's going to Canton. Let's hang in there for a bit. Jesus. That leads you to boom with Gus Bradley and what those guys did up in Seattle. They played both. And they had multiple secondary coverages, what made them great. Q does not play both. They're barely in man. See this stuff right here? This is stuff that gets you to know that people want to, just like Keely Ringo bullshit. Okay? Just like the Keely Ringo stuff. You guys had me telling me all offseason the guy's going to be a Pro Bowler. Yeah, well, let's see. I'm not there yet. And I'm not there on Trotter even. You thought some of these transitions, you guys had the talent because you gave Howie the benefit of the doubt when it came to drafting. Okay, I'm not saying you're wrong. So far, first week, that's not how this is playing out. Trotter will not start week 1. He will not start. Campbell will start. He goes to Zach Baun, and Zach Baun is helping him. By the way, you know when you guys say that they're going to get some edge work out of him? Right now, that's not how he's talking. He said, I'm where my feet are right now. That's the play off ball right now. And inside, after practice, they take me over there, and I get a couple reps when it comes to pass rushing. But he didn't make it seem like that's where they were really focused also on getting him a lot of reps. You see this right here? This guy's missing it. The full contact has nothing to do when it comes to lining up and getting reps on 7-on-7, pass rushing. And quite frankly, I would say this to you. Pass rushing and shoulder pads and helmets is the same as being in full pads when you're pass rushing. It's the same thing. There's no difference. You put the pants on, you're pass rushing, there's no difference. There's no difference. Okay? None. All right. Let's go here now. I like Nakobe Dean has also been a very good leader to helping Jihad Campbell. All right? He really has. He's been good. So I like Jihad Campbell. Let's go to Jalix Hunt. Energy. I love the fact that he calls everybody asking how to learn how to get techniques from Von Miller and other pass rushers like McGinnis and those thirds. This guy's really hungry for knowledge. He's really hungry for knowledge. I like how hungry he is to want to learn. Boy, I'll tell you, man, he has been an absolutely surprise to me. I thought this guy was a 3-year project, but he's enjoyable to listen to. He's enjoyable to hear how he wants to get better. I really dig this guy. I understand playing man is harder, but why do you penalize players for being good at what they're asked to do? I don't think Q's all pro yet, but can be. Like I said, dude, penalize. You're not as skilled as a man corner. It's harder to play man than zone. Plain and simple. Do you not understand that, JP? It's not being penalized. It's harder to play man and a man cover corner than it is to play zone. Penalized. It's a harder skill set. What are you not understanding? You're 10 yards off the ball versus being on a man's face where you can get beat right off the line of scrimmage. What are you not understanding? It's harder to play man than it is to play zone. I'm not understanding what you're not getting. And help me out here. Maybe we need to help you out here a little bit. But being penalized, it's not being penalized. It's a harder skill set. That's what makes those guys $30 million a year players. Now, I agree with Prince. If you're traveling, that's going to be more of a scenario where you're going to see more of his skill set. Okay? Leon, here he is. I just got a text from a girl I really liked and thought I had a chance with. This hurts. She's not interested anymore. My stomach is sick. Sorry. I know it's sports show, but hey, dude, I feel sorry for you, man. This guy's trying to make me feel sorry to hook him up with Joy. It ain't working, Leon. Hey, Leon, it ain't working. Okay? Get this. This guy doesn't understand. So if Vic calls Q to play zone, Q's supposed to play man. No, that's not what I'm saying, dickhead. What the fuck are you not understanding? Playing man is harder than playing zone. You're not a zone corner. What are you not getting? Well, you're saying he's not. What the fuck are you not getting? I'm not telling you he's supposed to play something else. I'm not understanding what you're asking me. I mean, Jesus criminy. What are you not understanding? Sills, you're the Eagles' good luck charm. You speak your mind with what you see and experience. They'll listen to you, and I don't want you to be right. Reasons they want you to be quiet. Keep up the good work this season. Repeat. There you go, Clairvoyant. Appreciate it, man. Guys, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm not telling you Q's bad. He's great for what they're asking him to do in zone. The guys who make the most money in this league are press corners. Have been for 100 years. What are you not getting? Are you saying he's a... No. I'm not saying it. He doesn't play it. Vic tells you that they don't play it. What was it, 160 plays? Holy cow. Do you think a man corner could step in and play zone with single transition? Yeah, I saw Slay do it. I think it helps older players play longer. I do. By the way, it's all about Vic not getting beat deep. It's about a mentality. Not getting beat deep, keeping everything in the zone. That's why linebacker plays essential in that Vic Fangio defense. Okay? I mean, Small's a good football player. Hey, Leon, hope it's all good, man. Let's see here. Yes, I like Small. Small's a good-looking football player. He was great in college. I think he's got a shot to be the swing linebacker. I like Jalix Hunt. He goes like this. He goes, hey, man, I'll tell you one thing, is that Nolan Smith's a hard-ass worker. Here's Senor. Slay was never a good man corner, which is why the Lions got rid of him. Senor's dead on. Then he became a spectacular zone corner. He's dead on. He found a niche playing zone. This is why Patricia got rid of him when he was in Detroit, because he didn't believe he could play out there in the corner spot playing press. He came to Philly. They put him in a zone, and he was a Pro Bowler every year he was here. Like, what are you not getting out of that? Well, that means you think Q. No, that doesn't think anything about Q. I got a topic about Q here. If our OC has been passed over many times, even to the extent of hiring outside help last season, are you worried about the Dumb and Dumber calling plays? I heard that today. That, Nick will parachute in on a situation, and he says it's happened quite a few times, and he goes, you're always prepared for that when Nick has a situation where he brings in a suggestion, like in the Atlanta game. I don't believe that Nick Sirianni is a very good play caller. I think Nick Sirianni is a really good play designer. Did you guys hear me? Okay. I think Nick knows how to design plays, and I think he knows how to design an offense. I just don't think he's a very good play caller. I saw him when he was 2-4. He stunk. Now, I'll tell you this. I thought he was pretty good with Rivers, both in Indianapolis and in San Diego, when he was with Frank out in San Diego and with Frank in Indianapolis. But that was Rivers. Rivers is a different dude when it comes to quarterbacking in the pocket. That's somebody that I think Nick is more fashionable to. Okay? I think he's more apt to have success with a quarterback like hey guys, somebody asked a question last week about who's the backup? Tanner McKee? Well, that question you guys asked last week? You guys asked the question of this. How come our backup quarterbacks don't look anything like our starting quarterbacks. I figured it out because I asked the question to somebody. Why do you think that is? Because that's more than Nick Sirianni's skill set. It's not about Jalen Hurts. It's about Nick. Nick feels comfortable with that style of quarterback. That's why you have guys like Gardner Minshew. That's why you have guys like Kenny Pickett. That's why you have guys like that that are more to the pocket, because it's not that it fits the offense. It fits Nick better and how Nick sees the offense and how it fits his skill set. So for me, I figure it out that way, that the backup quarterback, it mirrors the coach. Is Kevin Patulo going to be better than Brian Johnson? Yet to be determined. Okay? Yet to be determined if he's going to be better than Brian Johnson. I don't know that yet. Okay? I have no idea. You can't replicate Jalen Hurts. Well, they never have. They've never replicated him. I really like this Jalix Hunt. All summer long, he was going to these camps, and he was learning pass rush moves. He's got a great attitude. So I'm a fan. Quinion traveling changed everything for you in 24? Q didn't travel in 24. I mean, if he travels in 25. Quinion Mitchell didn't travel in 24. A little bit. Not a lot. I thought of Dory Jackson. Thought he said some pretty good things. I'll tell you the guy here that I really liked. You know who the impressive guy was at the press conference? Was Moro Ajomo. Boy, is he articulate, smart, cognizant of where he is, his opportunity. He says, isn't this supposed to be how it goes? You know, Milton got a chance. Now I'm getting a chance. He's very articulate. I mean, I like the guy. He's going to get more reps. He was asked about opportunities. And, I mean, really, I thought a lot of his interview. Now, get this. He was asked if he thought his role was going to get. He goes, opportunity that you get from Vic is how hard you work, and you know your role changes when he's asking more of you. So this is good. I thought there were a lot of really great things said here. Jahan Dotson, I'm impressed with this kid, this Terrence kid. I thought he really had a great first week. I really think a lot of him. Okay? I do. Now, Cam Jurgens spoke. You know, Cam Jurgens' back is still bugging him, and they're taking it slow with him. I'm not concerned about him, I don't think. Okay, I don't know if I'm concerned yet. But, boy, they've been limiting him in practice. He's not really full go yet. He's not full go. So when they get him into shoulder pads, like they did today, and then they get him in full practice when they're scrimmaging, I wonder how that's going to look. And if he's going to see any time whatsoever during training camp, you cannot lose him. And he said he played with a ton of injuries a year ago. You cannot lose that guy. Okay? You can't. You cannot lose that guy. He is the second most important offensive lineman on your football team, next to your left tackle. You can't lose your center. Okay? You just can't lose him. You've had Pro Bowl production out of that position every year I've followed you. Okay? And I don't want to see Landon Dickerson moving over, because then you're weaker at the two guard positions if you do that. Okay? So, Cam, does it concern me? A little bit. All right. So let's go over here. And let's get back to how we opened the show. We were kind of kidding around about Keely Ringo and Adoree Jackson, Makuba and Sidney Brown, two safeties and the two corners. If you don't have this thing figured out in the next 38 days, you've got Dak, Mahomes, Stafford, and Mayfield. They're going to figure it out for you. You understand what I'm saying? They're going to figure it out for you. So Sirianni was hired to coach Wentz, not Hurts. Then in March, he was traded. Correct. Understood. So I said he's never coached a player of Jalen Hurts' skill set. He's never coached any guy like that. A little bit with Jacoby Brissett in Indianapolis, but I mean, Nick's really never coached a guy like that. And surely Patulo hasn't. So, I mean, well, now with Hurts in the building, but he wasn't the main guy. And he was passed over twice. I don't care what people say. He was passed over. Now, here's a bullshit comment by Hurts that I don't buy. So earlier in the weekend, Hurts was asked a question about Kevin Patulo and Kevin Patulo being in the building. And what I don't get is, because I know people listen to us, this has basically been my take, is that if he was so great, okay, if he was so great, okay, if he was so great, why was he passed over twice? Okay, why was he? And Jalen said his opinion was that he said that, hey, man, he's been groomed for this. He's been groomed for this. He's been groomed for this the entire time. And this was his time. Now, that could be. Okay? That could be that he's that guy. That they just never thought. And he goes, from the very beginning, Kevin Patulo was groomed for this job. I don't buy that. I don't believe that. Okay? I don't believe that. I think situation and circumstances led to Patulo getting the job. It's a bullshit comment. Well, now he's ready. Okay. You didn't think he was ready the last 2 years. If you thought he was such a great coach, why didn't you elevate him? You even went out of the building. Hurts is covering for him. That's okay. I don't mind it. You cover for your coaches, your coaches cover for your players. I don't mind it. But it's a bullshit comment from Hurts. I mean, it's not true. Brian Johnson, who you guys thought sucked, was given the job over him. Brian Johnson was just as qualified to get that job as Kevin Patulo was. Maybe he got better. How? He wasn't the play caller. Kellen Moore was the play caller. How did he get better? Doing what? Intern Sirianni. How did Kevin... By the way, I liked him today. I'm not saying I didn't like him today. Okay. Okay. Well, then why didn't Jalen take Kevin Patulo over Brian Johnson? Because they're boys? I'm not elevating a coach because he's my friend. I'm elevating a coach because he's qualified. If that's the case, that's a bullshit hire. All of you were right. Brian Johnson was a bullshit hire. You hired him because it's Jalen's boy? Who gives a shit? You think anybody in New England was hired because they were Tom Brady's favorite? They got the best coaches in New England for Tom Brady, whether he liked it or not. Charlie Weiss, Bill O'Brien. Bill O'Brien and him were getting in arguments on the sidelines, and it was in a Super Bowl year. That had nothing to do with being boys. Had nothing to do with it. I don't give a shit about that. Hey, dude, you could be buddies at a bar somewhere. I don't need you to be buddies on the sideline. And like I said, I don't have a problem with Patulo. I thought he was good today. Don't give me that bullshit. He's been groomed the whole time for this job. That's not true. You hired a guy from within, then you even went out of the building. I mean, did you even interview him? I don't even remember Kevin Patulo being interviewed for the OC job. Wasn't it Nussmeier? It was Nussmeier that was interviewed for the OC job, right? He was interviewed for it. It wasn't him. So, I mean, but it's okay. I mean, I don't mind it. Yeah, I saw that. Jalen's like, yeah, Kevin Patulo, he's been in the building, from day one. He's been like, groomed kind of for this job right now. And I'm like, okay, well, that's not really how that's played out. That's a nice way of covering for the fact, because they listened to our show, that I brought the point up he got passed over. And listen, I don't really care how you got there. I just care once you get there, you do the job. That's how the most important thing should be, is that he does the job there. Will Frank have a position next year after he's done with Stanford? You heard him say that. Frank Reich is joining the staff next year. That is 1,000% a certainty. It's what role they'll have him in. He said it here. Nick was carving a rollout for him. It wasn't coordinator, but they're carving a rollout for him. They've got a job for Frank Reich next year. Yes. Big Sills is reporting on July 28th, 2025, Nick Sirianni will be added to the Eagle coaching staff. Maybe he was groomed last year by Kellen Moore. How could he be groomed by Kellen Moore when Kellen Moore was hired from outside and it was an external hire? From what? 4 months of work in the preseason? Moore was fired twice. Dallas and the Chargers. How did Kellen groomed them? How? Teaching them how to run the ball? So what influence will he have? Design or play calling, or both? I think Nick's a decent play. I think Nick is a decent play designer and an offensive strategy guy. I don't think he's a very good play caller. Again, you got Phillip Rivers. He's going to be better. I had to put down one of my cats this weekend. Shit sucks. Absolutely sucks, Sig. I hate that, man. Thank you for the 8 months, bro. 4 months of Super Bowl work. Yeah. Run right, run left. Some influence. Nice influence. Run right, run left. Look, I think Patulo, his only experience is designing offenses, not play calling. There's a skill set for that. I told you today, I'm not going to keep telling you. I liked the guy today. I thought he had a great interview today. I thought he was good. I didn't think he was bad. I was actually impressed with him. But when Hurts made that comment over the weekend, I was like, it's actually the first time I've actually heard Jalen Hurts stick up for a coach. And I thought it was good. Actually, more, what I did dig by Patulo? We're asking Hurts and we're streamlining it more. And we're asking him more of his opinion. I think he feels more entitled to protect Patulo because Patulo's asking more of him. Whereas I'm not sure the other coordinators are asking as much of him when they were here. I think Kevin probably could have the better relationship of any of the coordinators that they've had in the building. So that's a positive. It seems to me that Kevin, he trusts Jalen more. There's no way Kellen Moore trusted Jalen when you take the ball out of his hands and you start running the ball the way you did. That was a philosophical change after the bye week. And then that process became a little bit more as the later went on, once they saw him setting protections and getting better at that towards the playoffs. And I think Kellen felt more comfortable with that. I think Kellen and Jalen became more comfortable with one another as the season went into the playoffs and as they were in the back end of the season versus the front end of the season. They stopped all that motion shit after week 4. They completely stopped that. All the things Moore had envisioned with the offense and where he wanted to take it were scrapped. I don't give a shit how you look at it. They were running motion everywhere, all over the board. They come out of the bye, that stuff went away. They never did that shit again. And I think as they got more towards the playoffs, I think it had more to do with Kellen Moore gaining confidence with Hurts setting the protection. And Hurts started showing, because remember, he was still taking a shitload of sacks, learning still how to take and learning still how to set protection. Okay? So, yes. Wild about what? I don't care how you form it, Prince. They took the ball out of his. Moore did. Moore did something a year ago he had never done in his entire coaching career. He is a pass coordinator. He's not a run-centric guy. He's never been in his entire career until last year. He's never run the ball in his entire life, where it was number one run and then pass was second. Everything was pass first. All the years he was in Dallas, it was pass first. And that's what they tried to do with Justin Herbert in Los Angeles. Here's Devin. In a way, Philly has the easiest OC job to take on as a first-year coordinator. All that talent, you could choose how you want to utilize it. Hard to F it up. Well, here's the deal, though, Devin. I think actually, here's the thing about taking the job in Philly as the OC. You're either going to get fired or you're going to get an NFL head coaching job. If Kevin Patulo screws up, he's being demoted. They probably won't fire him because Nick likes him a lot and thinks he's a smart coach. But if that guy doesn't move the sticks to wins, he's going to be demoted immediately, and you will have a huge problem on your hand by week 6 if that thing stumbles out of the gate. And I'm not suggesting it's going to. Again, the defense won the day today, probably because they're working on stuff. That's okay. The least of my concerns is the offensive talent on the football. I'm not concerned. Listen, if Jalen Hurts struggles today and throws a pick, and that stupid guy covering the team gives him a C-. I don't give a shit. If Keely Ringo has a C- day, I give a shit about that. Keely Ringo has zero equity with me. And he should with you. He has no equity. He's built no trust up. What trust do you have when you gave a guy a position? He hasn't earned shit. The safety hasn't earned shit. The linebacker hasn't earned shit. Ajomo, like I said, the two defensive Hunt and Moro Ajomo, first week, I feel pretty good about those two dudes. The Eagles feel pretty good about those guys. Is Sirianni's fate tied to Patulo? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Sirianni's fate is tied to Howie, not Kevin Patulo. The team's fate is tied to Kevin Patulo. Every year, the team will go as the coordinator goes because they're new dudes every year. I'll say it again to you, and I ask you every year since I've been covering the Eagles. What's crazy is, watch this. How many people believe? And you know what you guys always say to me? No way, Sills. Watch this. How many people believe Jalen Hurts will have a new coordinator next year? I do. I've said it 3 straight years to you. And they've been 3 straight coordinator changes. How many people believe Jalen Hurts will have a new coordinator next year? Yes or no? Let me guess. No. Well, it'll be the 4th year in a row that you guys will say that, if you do say that. He'll have a new guy next year play calling. Because either Patulo's going to get a head coaching opportunity or he'll be demoted or fired. He might make it 2 seasons. You've only had one guy make it 2 seasons, Shane Steichen. Only one guy in the last 5 years under Nick has made it to 2 years. And that's been Shane. But you think this will change it. Okay. Okay. Seals, the offensive line is the key to Hurts. He didn't ask for the change on offense at 2-2. The linemen did. I think the coaches did. And the linemen did. But I think the one thing you got to always remember, that's Jalen Hurts' team. If the quarterback could have been a dick last year and been like Dan Marino or other quarterbacks in this league and refused to make the change, Jalen could have been an asshole. You think that that's that easy? Going to a quarterback and telling him to take less reps and less opportunities to throw the ball? That's easy? Hell no. You're not walking into a place going like this, hey, Joe Burrow, I want to take the ball out of your hands 20% of the time each game going into the games so we can run the ball. Back then when they had Joe Mixon. That ain't working in Cincy. Jalen was not an asshole last year. He could have been. Remember what he said? I do what I'm asked. That was a direct quote from him. I do what I'm asked to do. So, hey, the guy, like J.J. Watt says, posting stats and shit, Hurts had a pick and a C-. And I'm like, how the fuck do you know what they're working on? How do you know they're not trying to really work on deep passing? He was a hell of a football player, too. Okay? I mean, how do you know that? All right. Don't forget, Gary Cobb at 4:30. Howard Eskin will be with us at 5:30. I got to tell you, I got to thank you guys, man. You made that Merrill Reese video go viral where, he showed the cleats and all. Thank you guys so much for that. I thought that was really dope of Merrill doing that, showing us the ring. It was all great, man. So if you get a chance to go back, if you missed the interview, go back and watch that bad puppy. That thing was dope. All right? All right. I mean, football's Friday. I can't believe it. Detroit and the Chargers Hall of Fame game? My goodness. hardest working guy in Philadelphia sports is my boy here. Let me say this to you, man. They were working hard all weekend. I think Saturday they had practice. Then today they had shoulder pads, shorts, and helmet. So they're almost at the very end of the ramp up now. Don't forget, right after the program, you're going to have Birds 365. Guys gave great content the entire week. And without further ado, it's my boy, Big Z, Xander Krause.
What up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
All good. How was the weekend, man? A lot of stuff over the weekend, huh? I mean,
man, no doubt.
We're here, aren't we, bro?
We really are, man. When weekends are filled with football, you know we're here, man, because I was talking football all weekend, and feels good for this team to be back out in the field. You mentioned last week was kind of our first official football Friday, and it felt like it still. So I had a great weekend, man, and I'm ready. I am ready for the Birds this year.
What was your big takeaway over the weekend? Was there any takeaway yet?
Jahad Campbell is coming. Keely Ringo, the questions are maybe bigger than ever. Andrew Makuba, I don't know. I'm almost ready to say if you want to go and repeat this year, you might want to think about adding a guy to the secondary.
Wow, Xander.
Well, I just don't want to go into the year where it's like you can't play life safe too many times. If you can identify early in this process that they're going to be a weak link, I mean, what are you waiting for? You got an opportunity here that's rare, that teams dream of, that team, GMs fall asleep with their head on the pillow dreaming of their team being in this spot. You're one of the 5 best teams in the league, man. Like, don't fucking waste it to try and, make your balls tingle over fucking Andrew Makuba and Keely Ringo. Like, I don't really care if you're wrong. So, I don't know. I'm not ready to say go and get somebody yet, but I would keep your eye on it. That's for damn sure. So, those are my takeaways so far. Gave you the positive and the negative. I like where Campbell is, though. I like where Campbell is.
How about this, Xander? I think people are being jaded by Cooper and by Q, how fast their growth was last year, where Makuba and Ringo may be slow growth. Let's not forget something here. Brandon Graham was a slow growth player. It took a little time for that guy to get his footing. I get where you're saying. You don't sound very patient.
Well, I don't think it's that. I mean, this is year 3 for Ringo. Makuba, all right. If Makuba can't play this year, all right, whatever. It's year 3 for Ringo. Like, remember, we approached last season with the chance that Ringo would be out on the field. He didn't even play in the reserve role last year. So how patient you want me to be, Sills? You want me to give him a second?
I agree.
You want me to give him a second contract? You know what I mean? Like, it's time. And
they've demoted him. He's on the second team now.
Yeah, now this is the bigger dilemma. Do you feel good about Adoree Jackson if Ringo can't go?
No. I feel okay about Adoree Jackson.
I feel okay too.
I feel okay about
I feel probably a little better than you.
But no. I mean by okay, he's competent out there. I feel, but I tell you what I would feel. Would you ever think about doing this? Why don't you put Ringo in that nickel and put Coop out there on the corner?
Yeah, I don't know. Ringo and nickel, he's too big for that. He's 6'3", 6'2". He can't play right nickel. Maybe safety. He's kind of a prototypical safety build.
He sure looks that.
Yeah. I mean, he looks at more than Makuba, who looks like a nickel. Makuba's tiny, dude.
Yeah.
Did you see the pictures of Makuba out there?
Yeah, he's tiny.
I'm not trying to pick on the dude, but that's a small dude. That dude's he's got to put some weight on.
Yeah,
I think I'm bigger than that dude.
Yeah,
he's a little shrimpy.
I came away with this. The first week, the 2 dudes, if I said something like the 2 dudes that first week of practice hurt, it's clearly Ringo and Makuba. Okay, do you bring in Justin Simmons?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, Deshae says he's built like Cam Chancellor. All right, Deshae. I don't know what you see, but I don't see that.
Yeah, I don't see that either. That's not
Cam
true.
Chancellor was a beast.
Yeah, Cam Chancellor's no way.
He's a long way from that, dude. Like years away from Cam Chancellor. Cam Chancellor was a little shorter, but he was a stout dude. What'd you say? Sorry, you're quiet. I got distracted by the chat.
I mean, should you bring in?
Oh yeah, Simmons.
By the way, Cam Chancellor, 6'3", 225.
Yeah, he wasn't even short, Cam Chancellor. He was big. McCool was like 5'10".
Cam Chancellor, 6'3", 225.
Wait. Deshae, I knew it. Once you said he was talking about Ringo.
Oh, Ringo.
He was talking about Ringo. My bad, Deshae. I should have picked up on that. Yeah, with Simmons, here's my question on him. I want to get better if we can, but are we sure that that's the answer?
No.
Because I don't know how much that guy has left in the tank. I don't know if it's a good thing to add I don't know what he is, 32, 33 years old, guy to the defense like that. I'm not really sure. So I'm not really sold that guy's the answer. But I don't think it's going to be Sidney Brown. And Makuba just looks a little too small for me. Somebody in the chat this morning said, "Oh, he's CJ Gardner-Johnson size." And I'm like, I don't know about that.
Gardner-Johnson is a playmaking dude with experience. I
watched Gardner-Johnson, blitz and deck. I forget what running back. He cleaned his clock at the line of scrimmage last year on a 4th and short. Who remembers that play? Does anybody really think that Andrew Makuba could make that hit in the NFL?
No way.
I don't think so.
Boy, I got to tell you what John said last week. Maybe I'm gonna go with what he said, and you know what? Maybe he was ahead of the game with this. The sense of urgency on signing guys. Boy, you really took a gamble on some of these dudes, and if they kind of limp out of the gate on you here, remember who you have in the first 4 weeks. You can say whatever you want about Dak. You got Dak, you've got Mahomes, you've got Stafford, and you got Mayfield. All 4,000-yard passing quarterbacks that know what to fucking do with the football when they see a missing link down there. I'm telling you, if you don't figure it out, Xander, those 4 quarterbacks are going to figure it out for you.
Yeah, that's true. It's a good way to put it, dude. It's a good way to put it. They're going to have some tests really early in the year, and it should be great. Wait, I gotta chirp somebody. I gotta chirp. So look at this. Brian Pumper says Xander is the biggest cat. Wait, so this is the funniest part about Pumper. Pumper's favorite players coming into the year are Sid Vicious, Sidney Brown, okay? Keely Ringo, my 7th heaven, he calls him, okay? And Johnny Wilson. Maybe 3 of the biggest scrubs right now that are projected to make the 52-man. Those are the 3 guys that Brian Pumper has put his stake on. And he wants to come in here and say, Xander's a casual. Brian Pumper, your IQ is sub 70, my guy. Hey. Sit down, shut up, kick your feet up, and enjoy the show, bro.
Hold on here. I got to tell you, Pump, I think that dude they signed from Carolina, I think that dude's going to squeeze someone out the door, man, because he's had a great week. That Terrence guy's had a good week, dude. They like him. AJ was right.
He was good in college. He was a good football player in college, and he played his professional ball at Carolina. I mean, anybody who's going to write off somebody's career in Carolina, especially an offensive skill position player, you know what I mean? Like where they have the worst lines ever. You're just not going to succeed over there. So, I'm not writing him off, man.
What'd you make of Kevin Patulo at the mic over the weekend?
I thought good, man. He sounds a lot more confident than I expected. Confident, comfortable, in command. I thought some of the players spoke today about him, and you can tell that they feel the presence too, which is a good thing. It's not an easy thing to go from players view you as a position coach, you know what I mean, or a secondary guy basically to the other guys, and then you kind of have to jump into the leadership role. That's not the easiest jump to make for people. So I thought the way the players spoke about him was pretty good. I thought he commanded the mic good. And I think the biggest credit to him is Jalen Hurts seems to be giving him a lot of credit, So I think it's all good right now with Kevin Patulo.
I'll tell you what I didn't like. I don't really think they're sold on Tyler Steen. He's coming along. He's getting better. He looks good. Then when he was asked about A.J. Dillon, he's like, that dude's a different dude. That dude's enormous. He catches the football. He was really high on him. And I got to tell you, I'm high on him now, just as long as he's healthy. But Here's my concerns right now, Xander. You got 38 days to figure this out. Guard, safety, and the corner. I feel pretty good listening to the guys talking about Jalix Hunt and Moro Ajomo. I feel pretty good listening. I'll tell you what, I was impressed with Moro Ajomo.
Yeah. Did you listen to him today?
You bet I did.
He's a calm, cool, collected dude, man. You can
Cerebral
tell.
guy.
Yeah, agreed. I agree. I think he's going to have a big year, which is why me and Johnny Mack had a debate about him a couple weeks ago. John's trying to tell me that Milton Williams is this inconceivably good defensive tackle that Eagles fans have completely forgotten on his way out the door. And if they think that Moro Ajomo can be anything like Milton, we are so wrong. Okay, let's see. I think Moro Ajomo is going to be pretty damn good. And I also don't think Milton Williams was irreplaceable. I mean, you got you're included in this.
Yeah,
you
you're
guys
damn
talk
right.
about Milton Williams.
You're damn right. I don't believe you have a guy
catalyst for the number one defense.
I don't believe you have a guy in that football team that could play 1,100 snaps. No way.
Well, Moro Ajomo played 500 last year.
Okay, well let's find out.
Yeah, he's got to double it up. I mean, he's got to get a lot more. I agree with that, and I think Jordan's going to eat up some more based on what I'm hearing from Vic about that. You heard the Vic question that Vic took about that. He said it's going to be a combination of Moro and Davis. If Ty Robinson can be anything, I think this year, I think that gives you a positive. It gives you some reinforcement on the back end. So I feel pretty good. I feel better about the defensive line today than I did coming into camp. I thought even Ojulari sounded pretty good today. You know what I mean? Now again, what they sound like doesn't really matter. I care about what they do in the football field, but I definitely feel a little bit better about the defensive line as compared to where we were a week ago when we were starting this thing. And then I feel probably a little bit worse about the two guys in the secondary that they're trying to replace. But I got to push back on you about one thing. Well, not push back because I don't disagree with you, but your comments on Quinyon Mitchell, and I don't think you were hating on him or anything, but I think you were just explaining, press cover corners are going to get paid. I think the Eagles are going to pay. I think when my bold take on Quinyon today would be when Quinyon gets paid in 2 years, I guess it would be, he'll be the highest paid corner in football, whether he plays man or not, because that's the way the Eagles do business. And I don't think they're going to let that label stop them from making him the highest paid corner in football. That's the only spot of it I would disagree with you.
Well, here's why they'll possibly do that is because he's going to be asked to do more. He's going to be asked to travel. He's going to be asked to do certain things that are different than he didn't do a year ago. You know what he's actually taking on this year? He's taking on more the Slay role and his role.
Yeah.
Because he's going to travel. So I'm going to pay for that.
Which is a bigger role. I mean, Slay didn't travel at all last year. Slay never traveled. So
let me say again, it wasn't a rip. It's just
no, I didn't think you were ripping him. I was just saying you were saying for 100 years, the highest paid corners in football have always been the press man. And you're right about that. But I do think with the way the game is changing and with the way Vic Fangio is here in Philly and just with the way Howie approaches his best players, he doesn't really care. Like you could make the argument, well, Devontae Smith didn't have the numbers to earn what he earned, but he got them. Cam Jurgens probably didn't do enough by conventional wisdom to earn what he earned, but Howie paid him. You know what I mean? Like, I think Howie's going to treat that differently, and Quinyon is certainly a guy that they spent a first-round pick on that they like very much. I could see him getting the highest paid corner in football when that deal comes.
Philly's in here. Philly, do me a favor. Philly 500's in here. Xander, what is your, after the first week, what's your biggest concern? Linebacker, safety, corner?
Not linebacker. Corner, safety, probably corner safety in a toss-up. Corner safety in a toss-up. I feel better about corner for one simple reason. You got Quinyon and Cooper. Now, I know Cooper's going to play the slot, but if you have two guys with that type of skill set that you can, I don't know how they'd move them, but you can move them around. You're telling me they got two of the three guys back there are Quinyon and Coop. I feel a little bit better at that versus at safety. You got Reed, and that's it. You know what I mean? Like, who's going to play that safety role? And so probably safety would be maybe the bigger concern, and then corner I would go.
The reason that I would say safety is because don't you agree that Vic protects the center of the field and the middle of the field more, and that with a zone corner, all you have to do, Xander, is to make sure that you don't give up the plus 25 play The big job is going to be reducing that zone. So he needs to have safety. I'm more concerned with safety. I don't believe you have a safety on the field right
Well,
now.
I agree.
And I don't know if you have.
Dory's got to change it a little bit, right?
Yeah, listen. And I said this. I don't think Dory Jackson's a bad ball player. I think he's a very competent player, and I think you could probably get away with him a little bit back there playing in a zone. Okay, I think he can, but I don't think. Again, we're going to find out here. The first week was not kind to your corners, and they were not kind to your safety.
Yeah.
The off linebacker now, John Campbell addressed it today. Dude, they're not working him at edge. He said that they're putting him out there a couple times, but my feet are where I am right now. I got to worry about being the best linebacker I possibly can be. I don't believe
I do
Trotter
wonder
starts.
if that's where they start him on his ascent. You got to start somewhere. I don't think you take a young. Although Cooper, if you remember Quinion last year, they started Quinion. They had him all over the field in training camp. They had him slot outside on both sides of the corner. I mean, they had him everywhere. So you would think. I just wonder how Campbell the role changes when Dean returns this year. Like even if Dean's not here long term, but Dean does come back this year, that's going to give you more leeway because now you have a good traditional Mike linebacker. And that's going to open up what you can do with Bond and Campbell, because if you have Bond and Campbell out there, which I think is a great tandem, who's the Mike? Probably Bond.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you're not going to be able to move Campbell as much as you could. Now, hear me out. This is what I've been dreaming of with this defense. And I've been trying to say this to John, but he keeps shitting it down because he doesn't like my takes on Jordan Davis. If Jordan Davis can play in the four-man front, and they can stop the run effectively and get pressure on the quarterback effectively, depending on whether it's a rundown or a passing down. 43. That's what every coordinator dreams of, obviously. Getting pressure and stopping the run with a four-man front. That's going to give you an extra guy in coverage. Now, I don't think they would do this a lot, but envision three linebackers on the field with a four-man front. You got N'Kobe at the mic, and your two off-ball linebackers, two weak-side linebackers are Zach Bond and Jahad Campbell. Or your strong side linebacker would be Campbell. Your weak side linebacker would be Bond. Now I can move him up in all different packages. I can show pressure with one or the other, and I can confuse defenses.
Boy, I'd want to have Bond as my Mike.
No,
I'd want
Bond
Bond
didn't
as
play
my
Mike last year.
I want Bond as my Mike in a 43. I'd put him in the 43 in the middle of the field because
even if Dean was healthy.
I think Dean, I'd want him out there because he's not a big dude. And because, again, remember, what's his problem? His problem is health. You're going to put a guy in the middle of the field taking on guards and centers at that size who struggles with health versus a guy who plays and can play in as a bigger man. His problem is size, Xander, not ability right now. And plus he runs a 4.4.
But last year, even with the two backers that they used for the majority of the time in the nickel coverage that they ran, Dean was the Mike. It wasn't Bond.
I don't really think they knew what they had with Bond until like maybe 3/3 of the
I don't
season.
think they knew they had a first team
all pro.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't either.
As you pointed out earlier in the show today, that's not that easy to do to get a first team. Yeah.
No, how about this? So you're saying Davis and Carter are your two interior tackles. Your defensive ends would be Ajomo and Hunt?
I guess well.
Where you put Nolan then in a 43?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't think they're going to do a 43 because it's Vic Fangio. I was just
no, but I like the premise of three backers on the field.
Yeah, but like if you can get home with four, if you don't need to load up the front and you can get home with four, like I think that would be crazy lethal because it would give Vic so much versatility in what he did to confuse quarterbacks with Bond and Campbell, who both have coverage ability, who both have Mike ability, basically right, just traditional linebacker playability, and who both could hypothetically rush the passer.
Well, here
you could scare the shit out of quarterbacks just by showing pressure on one side or the other, bringing the other one. I mean, there's so many different things you could do there if you're Vic.
How about this in a 43? Like we just said, Ajomo and Hunt as your ends, Carter and Davis as your two tackles, Bond, Campbell, and Nolan as your backers. And you put Nolan outside with that 4-4.
Right, and then play Bond at the mic.
and then play
See,
Vaughn at the Mike.
This is why it's real hard to envision a future with Nakobe Dean.
It is.
Because even in the scenario I laid out where you have a 43, where you have 3 backers on the field, Sileo just gave us a better look at a defense, and Nakobe's still not on the field.
Right. Right. Because again, to me, it's more about ability and availability. Okay.
And Philly, this is what I was thinking. Philly says Smith, Carter, Davis, Hunt. But envision all those guys being on the field with Moro Ajomo on the line and dropping Smith back to the backer spot, technically the outside linebacker.
I don't think Smith's big enough to play out there on the – where are you going to play him? Are you really going to line him up?
No, I like what you just said.
Yeah. I'm not putting Smith in that position because he's not big enough to take on tackle tight end.
Now you've got all those guys on the field plus Moro Ajomo, who's a great pass rusher.
Yeah. And you get Smith on the field rushing off the corner.
I'll tell you something that's starting to come into play, though, for me. At least it looks like this early in the camp process, early on paper. Vic Fangio is going to be able to be creative. Like yes. the style of players that they're getting right now, that this is no guarantee they all pan out and they're all great and they all stay healthy. But, boy, if things do work out or things pan out with some of these guys, Vic is going to be able to be as creative as he can fathom. You couldn't do that a year ago. You had less versatility in your players. You have a lot of versatility in your players right now. Basically, the only dude who's not all that versatile is obviously Carter's going to be what he's going to be. Davis is going to be what he's going to be, but even he's added versatility. And Nakobe's going to be a Mike. I mean, if Nakobe's on the field, he's a Mike linebacker.
Remember, your versatility is not coming off the field. Okay,
which is who? Vaughn,
like
Campbell.
I said, not coming. No, almost everybody can play in multiple packages.
Yeah.
Except for Davis.
Not 90. Davis, we're not going to be a nickel 95%. We're going to be a nickel probably 70%.
That's what it is. It's 69.6% of the time you're a nickel.
70%. I do wonder if that 4-man front's even better this year, if that number can come down a little bit. Now you'd have to have really strong play from your secondary for that to work, but
especially at the corner position.
Yeah. That's where I worry about that, because if those guys can't be left alone at all, that's going to change what Vic will be able to do. So I think here's the beauty of this, though. These are all great problems. I mean, these are all great problems in the sense of, you have a lot of options at what you can do on the
defense. But you're addressing only the front 7. You're really looking, because your big problems, like you just told me, are safety and corner. Well,
yeah, but
what happens?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be holes that a good quarterback will pick on. But you do have Reed, I mean, who's a solid NFL player. You got Quinion and Coop. I think Adoree Jackson knows how to play the position.
I do too.
I mean, Sidney Brown, while I don't think he fits Vic's system, I do think he has a physicality to him that could be used in some way if you had good coverage from the rest of the guys back there. Now, I don't know if they'll use him like that or not. Makuba's great in cover, great for Vic's style, but I just don't know if he's going to be able to stay on the field or if he's good enough yet to be on the field. So, no, you're right. There's some questions in the secondary, but overall, I feel like they're in a pretty good spot.
Makuba's injured, huh?
I mean, he didn't practice today, so John put out what happened. I got to go and read it.
Yeah. So Makuba, okay, not only is he not – how about this? It's way too early to make any – comment about good and bad in a way, but for me, he didn't have a good week, in my opinion. I mean, I've seen some of the film. Gary sent me some video. We got him at 4:30, by the way. I don't know, Xander. I mean, I don't see it yet. And again, 38 days to figure this out. You got Dallas in 38 days.
Yeah.
How much do you think you're going to turn around in 38 days with what you have on the field right now? Do you think you're going to? Again, the controlled scrimmages are going to be important. I think you have one with, is it the Patriots or Cleveland? I think it's Cleveland.
Last year, Patriots.
Yeah, you have Cleveland, so you have an organized team activity scrimmage with them. That will tell you a little bit of where they are. They've already dropped Keely Ringo to the second team. They had him starting out, and I'm watching Adoree, and Adoree still – see, here's the problem with Adoree. It's not that he's not good. He's still figuring it out, what his responsibilities are and what they're asking him to do. Yeah. That's my concern here.
See, I just want to play what if for a second. And I know I know Eagles fans won't want me to do this, but I see this comment and I'm just like, from Philly 500, like, Can you imagine what this team would look like if they simply just
kept CJ.
kept Gardner, like not extended him, not paid him any more money, simply just kept him on the roster? Are you kidding me, guys? This defense would be scary fucking good.
You got bad at two positions in a way by getting rid of him. You had a guy who's not going to make the team.
Dude, he was making $8 million. He was a bargain player.
You got a guy who's not going to make the team in green, and you got rid of a guy who's the best safety you had on your team and still has years left in him. He's not an old player. He's 27. Dude, I don't know. Slay's going to hurt too, dude.
I know, but I feel a little – I mean, Slay makes more sense because he was 35. You know what I mean? Like, I get that moving on from a player.
We were both right on that a year ago where you were like, Sills, we're not the defense we are without him. And I'm like, well, he started going in and out of line. Even though he did play a ton of fucking snaps a year ago, he played more than I thought he played.
So look at this. This is pretty funny, dude. The Titans just waived wide receiver Treylon Burks.
Man.
That's who they drafted to replace A.J. Brown.
My God almighty. A.J. Brown must just be absolutely just fucking beside himself going like, you didn't give me an extra $6 million because you fucking wanted to go there. They cut that guy. He's been an absolute train wreck since they drafted that
That's
dude.
Putting it mildly. Yeah, he's been bad.
Boy. So let me ask you something here. Since we're going down this lane, when all is said at the end of the day, who do you think will have a better career, Cooper or Q?
Cooper. I don't know. It's tough because the way Quinyon plays, I mean, he could have one of those silent cornerback careers where he's not the most talked about name in the world, but the dude just doesn't get beat. You know what I mean?
I thought the objective was that not to have your name mentioned a lot because
it's like a defenseman in hockey, Sills. That used to be the saying. If they're talking about you, that's not a good thing. You don't want to be talked about. You know what I mean? But I don't know, man. Cooper DeJean just got ranked number 60 by his NFL peers already after year one.
His second year.
No, his first fucking year.
Well,
he had played one season.
I know, man. True. One season.
I mean, if the rest of the NFL players are like, yeah, that dude can fucking play. You know, I don't know. It's tough to pick against Cooper DeJean, but I do think Quinyon's going to have a hell of a career as well.
Okay, here, let me go here with you. What'd you make of them saying, and I believe it was John who asked the question about the fullback. You think you're going to see more of that in this offense this year? You think that's going to be part of it? And also this, does that mean this is why when Kevin Patulo was asked the question about not a pitch count, but the amount of snaps that Barkley took, do you think they're implementing that fullback because they are concerned about the snaps for Barkley and how many he took, and that's maybe why they want to get two backs in the backfield?
Maybe, but I think it's also just adding to the versatility of what they do, and that's established themselves as a brute force offensive football team. You know, there's not many of those teams in the league. In fact, there's zero of them. You could maybe argue the Ravens are a little bit of that because they have Derrick Henry, but outside of him, they're kind of a cutesy team. You know, Lamar is a cutesy in terms of the way that he, you know, maneuvers and shifts and shakes and bakes, which is great. It's fun to watch, but they're not. Eagles are a brute force offensive team. Yes. They want to bully you. That's what they want to do. And bringing in a fullback more in the picture makes sense. I mean, Jeffrey Lurie brought that up. You know, you've now heard it in press conferences. So I would anticipate, they're going to use the fullback a little bit more. I don't know how much. What are you talking? 5%?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about this, man? What'd you make of the defense winning the day today in day 4? Who won the day? And the defense won the day today. The offense, again, I'm not taking anything away that the offense got stymied by that defense. I'm just saying they may be working on something. John will have more of that on what they were working on after the program here with Birds 365 on what they were actually working on. But what'd you make of that? I mean, you think this offense has a chance of struggling out of the gate? Do you think it has, again, like it struggled a year ago? What's going to be the difference this year, Xander?
I think the big takeaway from that is that I actually had a different take that I was happy because I don't have as many questions on the offense coming in. I had more questions on the defense. And when I hear the defense is having good days against our offense, that gives me more optimism on the upside of what the defense can be. I put it in my bold predictions. They're going to be a top 5 defense. I'm going to double down on it and triple down on it and quadruple down on it all the rest of training camp and through the year. This is going to be a top defensive unit in the league. And I feel better about that. Now, from the offensive side of the ball, I don't really know, because how much are they trying to push the needle and add on to what they did last year in terms of passing and more chances and some of those things? It all seems good with Kevin Patulo. It does seem like they're more confident in everything. I'm not really taking much of it, honestly. I'm not too concerned about it.
Yeah, but here's my question again. Okay, why am I going to believe that this offense is going to start fast when it didn't a year ago? What's the difference? And you lost a guard who was part of that dynamic running attack. Why will this be different this season? I mean, what, a different coordinator now? You got to get probably the same approach. Are you going to run the ball? Are you going to throw the ball more? I mean, I don't know if they're going to. Why would you throw the ball against a team that can't stop the run? I mean, if you're going to play against the Cowboys,
why would you throw the ball when you have 5 offensive linemen?
I wouldn't.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel pretty good about the offense. I get some of the concerns or some of the questions about what they will be this year, but overall, I feel like they're going to be pretty good. Now, maybe they need to be more than they were last year in the sense that they're going to have to win some games early for the defense while that defense gets acclimated. But you might see a little bit of both of that, by the way. Like, some of the offensive guys are talking like the defense has a head start. Did you hear? I forget who that was that said that today. They were like, well, the offense, is installing a new play, has a new offensive coordinator versus the defense. It has all the same everything, and they're coming in ahead of us. And I'm like, well, I don't know if they're ahead of you. You guys had 10 of 11 starters returning, but overall, I feel pretty good about it. I'm not really
go with me on this for a little bit, and let me get this out here on this. Do you think this will be the first year that the offense will be the identity of Hurts? Because I don't believe any year he's played it's been, and I'll tell you why. It's been the identity of the coordinators. The first one was Shane Steichen. Shane Steichen's a RPO guy. He took that to Indianapolis with him. Even though that guy, Anthony Richardson, blows out loud.
He stinks.
Okay? That's his forte. Brian Johnson, what he wanted to do is what Jaden Daniels is doing now in Washington.
Yeah, but I think that's a little overrated.
And then get this last year, that wasn't Jalen Hurts' style of football, running the ball a year ago. That was Saquon Barkley.
Yeah,
okay, so, I mean, will this be the first year where the identity of the offense is his?
I don't know. I mean, I hear what you're saying, but I put a little bit more value on the chameleon nature of Hurts, where he can be a different quarterback depending on
I'm not saying he can't adapt. I'm saying
no, I know you're not. I'm just saying I'm not as worried about him, about that being true or not true, what the question you asked. Now, just to answer your question, I think this year is probably the year it will be more Jalen Hurts's, but I don't care as much whether it is or if it isn't, because they've asked him to do something different. And 2 of the 3 years that he's been the starter, ultimately he was the correct quarterback for what they needed. So I think that being that chameleon, even if it means it's not your offense or the ball's not in your hands as much again, I don't really care, because I think they've identified what's going to work based on, in any given year.
Well, let me ask you though this way then. Did Jalen fit into the coordinators? Or did the coordinators fit into Jalen? I mean, I look at it this way. Okay, most quarterbacks, the coordinators have to fit in to the quarterback skill set. It seems to me that Jalen has fit in to the coordinator skill set. Every year they've had a different approach because, and you're saying this.
Is that overrated? And this is what I mean. Is it overrated?
Wait a minute. To your question, overrated. Wait a minute. It has to be because they've won. It has to be. You can't just glaze over it and go, fuck that. Okay, he's not. He's fitting into being what the coordinators want. Well, okay. Well, if that's the case, good. Because they fucking won 2 NFC titles in the Super Bowl, dude. I mean, how can that even to my look? I have to
That's why I say is it overrated because like
maybe,
all these coordinators show up to places, and I'm not blaming them because they got the $50 million quarterback who makes all the money and is the highest paid guy in the organization. But they bend everything to fit the need of the quarterback, and they make the quarterback look really damn good doing it. They got all these passing yards, and everything looks pretty, and they're talked about in the MVP conversation. And then when push comes to shove, and they got to win a playoff game, they can't fucking do it. Meanwhile, the only other quarterback that I would comp in terms of a chameleon nature, and it's different, I know this, is Mahomes a little bit. Like they got rid of his pass catcher. Okay, Mahomes, you're going to have to be a little bit different. Now, his is different in the sense that if he doesn't play great, they're effed. So it's a little different. But they're the one team that hasn't bent everything to be able – like, for example, if you pick Mahomes out of a scrap heap and you were like, build the perfect offense around him, I'll tell you what you wouldn't do. You wouldn't get rid of Tyreek Hill.
No.
You'd say that guy fits him perfect.
No, right.
You know? So he's kind of had to be that chameleon and has made it there. Hurts in a different way has had to be a chameleon. He's gone there versus the offense is built for Joe Burrow. He gets 5,000 passing yards, and damn, does he look good, but they don't go very far. The offense in Buffalo, I think it's a lot. See, the problem with the Buffalo thing for me is I think he's the one quarterback that's actually done everything to get there, and the team around him –
can't do it.
Just let him down. The coaches, the team, everybody lets him down. So I don't know. That's a little bit of a different one, but I kind of like the chameleon nature of Hurts and being able to bend what he needs to do.
To what you're saying, though, I found this out this morning. You know, Baker Mayfield's had 8 different offensive coordinators in the last 8 years.
Yeah, it's a lot.
But you know, one thing hasn't changed? His style of play. Hurts has changed his style of play 4 different years.
Well, Hurts is a little more versatile than Baker. You agree? Just in the sense that a lot more.
A lot more.
More. He's more versatile than most.
Yes. And he's willing to do it, which is also something that people don't give him enough credit for because you would have a lot of bitching by a lot of quarterbacks in this league if you said, hey, do me a favor. We're going to go to this style of play. So,
well, I think Joy Taylor touched on this a little bit last week, but I saw somebody put on social media somewhere. I don't know who it was, so if you can credit them in the chat if anybody knows who it was. But somebody put up, everybody's always talking about stats with Hurts, and I get it. It's the quarterback. It's the way they're discussed and talked about and ranked and all these different things. I understand that, but when Jalen Hurts maximized his stats in 22 or 23 and they're 22 and had the best Super Bowl ever and out threw Mahomes and had 340 passing yards and all these different things, he lost the Super Bowl and he had the great stats. And then when he didn't have the great stats, but he got the win, like now nobody cares about the win. But when he lost the Super Bowl, nobody gave a fuck about the stats because he lost. So it's like, I don't know. I feel like he's got this mentality that kind of defies the way that the modern quarterback is viewed.
It's like he can't please everybody.
Yeah, and I think he's right. So I don't really care about what it looks like. I just want to keep focus on the winning and whatever that looks like. Where I agree with you is, hey, maybe that winning looks different, or maybe it requires a different version of you this year. That I agree with, but I don't want to put him in a box in the sense of, oh, you got to be this, or if you're not this, then I'll think this of you. Just Jalen, just keep boxing it, blocking everybody out. Block out the noise, block out Sileo, block out McMullen, block out Cam Newton. Fuck them all. Keep doing what you got to do to win football games, and everything else will align as it has to this point.
I'm going to call bullshit on Hurts, though. But I'm going to also do this. This is the first time I've seen him actually back somebody that he likes. Kevin Patulo has been groomed for this job since he got here. No, bro. No, he hasn't. You passed him over twice. And I respectfully disagree with this. However, I think it's a good thing that we're hearing Hurts back a coach. Since day one, this is him talking now. Since day one, Kevin has been, he's been kind of groomed for this moment for right now. Now, the most important thing is as long as the quarterback feels that, and as long as the quarterback feels that, I guess that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
He does feel that. But that's the first coordinator I've heard him really go to bat for.
Well, I think there might be some lessons there as well. Remember, Jalen Hurts is 27-year-old young man. You know what I mean? I think he regrets not everything, but maybe said, oh, yeah, probably should have made that one comment last year that talked about, you know what I mean? So I think some of it's learning his lesson, but I do get a sense of confidence and comfort from Jalen and really the whole offense about Kevin Patulo, a lot more so than I did about previous new coordinators. So I think that's a positive thing from the offense.
Do you feel more positive about Kevin Patulo at this time of the year right now than you did Kellen Moore a year ago?
Well, it's tough to say because I think we thought Kellen Moore was going to be so much different than he was. Like, remember what we were projecting?
He was going to air it out.
We thought Jalen, here comes. Let's see if Jalen can handle it. You know what I mean? Like, we thought an air raid attack was coming and it wasn't that at all, which I think is a credit to Kellen, actually. So I don't know what to expect, but I feel pretty good about the offense. A lot less to do with Kevin Patulo and a lot more to do with the 10 guys that are returning and half of them being freaking damn near all pro caliber players. And the offensive line and the skill position guys, 2 receivers, a running back, the 2 tackles, even the 2 guard or the 1 guard, at least the center, the quarterback. I mean, apparently Dallas Goedert's having a great camp. I feel a little bit more to do with that than it is with Patulo, but I am confident in Patulo. So let's
get to some of these supers, Xander, then we'll get to G Cobb.
Let's do it. Christopher Darker, what's up, brother? Appreciate everybody, by the way, for all the super chats today. He says Jalen's mentality is built for Philly. Any other quarterback would fold under the pressure we put on our quarterbacks, not to mention the media.
Agreed. I think it's tough to play here.
It is definitely tough to play
because
here.
You know why? You don't get this. If
I don't want to be easy to play. Like, people say that though, like I think that's a good thing.
It is.
Yeah. Like what do you want to play for a team that doesn't or a fan base that doesn't give a shit?
Hey, Christopher, let me give you a mentality, okay? And I told Xander this the other day. You guys know I do that morning show in Tampa, right? Tampa's worried about winning the NFC East. You guys are worried about winning the Super Bowl.
The South, but yeah.
The South, right. Okay, there's a whole different mentality chasing the NFC South versus chasing the Super Bowl.
I do agree, though, with his sentiment about Hurts, his mentality. He is a rare breed type of dude where he, the way he thinks and the way he talks and communicates and all those different things. And I do think it bodes well for a city that requires you to be able to handle pressure. McNabb famously, obviously, sometimes felt the need to have to answer to people and felt the need to, respond to the critics and quantify and justify and all these different things. Jalen is he's just different with that stuff. And I do think that works really well.
You know who Donovan McNabb reminded me of? Somebody's ex-wife. That's who he reminded me of. Somebody's ex-wife, always bitching about alimony.
Abe says, could it be that Jalen felt that Patulo earned it, overlooked 2 years in a row, and now getting the ability to show is just like Jalen? Actually, that's a good call.
Abe, that's a great take. I'm with you.
Yeah, that's a good. It's similar to the Jalen story as well. Yeah. That's a good take right there.
Maybe that's why he does relate to him, because he was passed over.
Abe, good stuff. Kyle Kokorski says, if Campbell starts week 1, what are his chances he could win Defensive Rookie of the Year? I would say pretty high. Yeah. Pretty high.
Especially when you got Carter and Davis in front of you.
And you have the defensive coordinator that's going to put you in the right position. You know what I mean? Absolutely. You're in a good spot, Kyle. So I think so. Ryan says, yo, Big Z, you a fantasy football guy? I am not. I actually never play fantasy. But somebody wanted to do a JAKIB League this year. I know you guys were talking about it in the chat earlier today. If you send me the link, I will join a JAKIB League. But any other league, any other bullshit league with a buy-in and going to bars with dudes for draft,
that's it.
Help me out.
That's why I don't do fantasy football, because you got to go to bars
bullshit. I'm
with 25 dudes, and you got to hang out with 25 dudes at a bar talking about who's your 3rd-round pick. And I'm like, Big Sills doesn't hang out at bars with dudes.
You know what I think it does, but because I've become more of a football commentator, you know what I think fantasy can do to someone like me, and I'm not criticizing anybody who plays, but I think it can alter your objectivity of the game. You know what I mean? You go into games and you're like, I want this certain player to score a touchdown, and that's all you care about now is the touchdowns and the stats and the bullshit, and it stops your ability to look at the game, and analyze it objectively and properly. So I don't really play Riot, but I would do a JAKIB League. That's it. General says, Sills, going to be a great year. AK, Eagles will suck. Ringo sucks. Jalen's a caboose. Too many losses. OC sucks. Also, Sills, Eagles to the NFC title game.
I don't know yet. I don't know yet. I don't know.
Devin says, in a way, Philly has the easiest offensive coordinator job to take on as a first-year coordinator. All that talent, you can choose how you want to utilize it. Hard to F up. Yeah, that's a catch-22.
Yeah,
Devin.
but I'll tell you this: if you
That's a
lose it,
catch-22, man. If you're not top 8, you're fucking out of here.
that's
I mean,
right.
come
man.
on, man.
Hey, you'll be lucky to get a job at Temple if you.
Yeah,
leave
look at
this
Brian
place.
Johnson. He was the 8th ranked offense in the NFL. Philadelphia talks about him like he's a stiff. 8th ranked offense in the NFL. It's a catch-22. Christopher says 4 months of Super Bowl work. Thank you, bro. I think that's our last one.
Good. All right, man. Yeah. Hey, yeah, like you said, it's a double-edged sword in Philly.
Yeah, it is.
You want the OC gig? Great. Well, you're either going to get a head coaching job in the NFL or you're going to get whacked and you're going to be coaching at Nebraska. And that, right? You're going to be some sort of GA at Nebraska if you don't win that gig.
I actually saw who's the Nebraska coach now? Shoot, Matt Rule.
The guy from Matt Rule.
I saw him down in Cape May this summer. He loves Cape May. He's got a big old house on the beach in Cape May.
Got to thank Temple for that job, baby, because that's what got him that house.
And no, he bought that.
Oh, wait a minute. Was that the Carolina job money?
I think it was the Carolina job.
Yeah, it was the Carolina money that.
Oh yeah, that Carolina coach coming.
That's right. If you work at Temple, you're getting a house in Ocean City. You ain't getting it in Cape May.
I'm a Cape May guy. I'm not an Ocean City guy. All right, everybody. I appreciate it. Still, it's great stuff, brother.
Show right after ours, right?
Yes, sir. 6 to 8 tonight. Birds 365. A recap of practice number 4 on the field for the Birds. Johnny Mack was down there at the NovaCare complex, so we'll get all his takeaways and what he saw at day 4, the position battles and how they're all developing and all these different changes that we're seeing and what John is seeing live and in person. So that'll be tonight, 6 to 8 p.m.
You got it. We'll make sure we catch that show right after this. Thanks a lot, Big Z. Don't forget, too, at 5:30, we got Howard Eskin. He will join us at 5:30. Well, Gary Cobb was also out there, so you're going to get a double dip because Gary was at the NovaCare Center, and I saw him posting a bunch of stuff from the NovaCare Center out there. And, I'm going to go back and say this one more time. I liked what I heard with Kevin Patulo, but my question is going to be one more time to Gary because we asked him, I believe this last week, why did they pass him over twice? You passed him over twice. Why is he ready now? And why am I to believe that this offense will be different than a year ago? It doesn't have to be. Does it even have to be? So without further ado, from Fox 29, former Eagle himself, 10-year-plus veteran in National Football League, is our big friend Gary Cobb, who joins us here on Mondays. G Cobb, how you doing, man? I appreciate you doing this.
I'm doing great. Those are some good questions. You guys are talking about some good things. Which play into this team and how they're going to do this year and everything. Now I tell you, Kevin Patulo, he is he does a good job talking to the media and everything.
Yeah, he was good.
Of course, that's not the most important part of your job, but he does do a good job of it. But the thing that we're going to have to wait, we're going to have to find out. Of course, they show some things at practice. You're able to see some things. But, he is letting Jalen have a lot of power, meaning trying to accommodate him. What does he like to do? What does he see? And, Jalen's a little older, so he's able to see some things. But ultimately, this is his job. He's got to get production out of that offense. Now, they have had some success throwing the ball. They didn't have a good day today, though. That was not a good day. The defense got the best of them today. Jalen threw a pick. Kenyon Mitchell made a one-handed grab, covering A.J. Brown. So that was a great play. I tell you, Kenyon, he's coming on because last year, he was a great man-to-man cover guy and everything, but he had chances to make interceptions. He's knocking the ball down. He's not thinking interception, but now he's starting to think picks because he's in position. You want to throw the ball over there at him, you're running the risk of trouble because he is, he's a great cover guy, man. This guy's got great cover skills with the speed. He's got good size, and he's a great athlete.
Gary, is he traveling? Because I heard
he is.
say that he's going to travel.
At times, yes. At times, yes, they are. You can see that they're going to put him on people and have him, cover that guy all the way over the field. That's definitely some things they're going to do. And he's just a great cover guy. And now that he's thinking interception, he's doing a lot better job of playing the ball and making some great catches. So I love what I see there. Moro Ojoma up front, really looking good, man. As a pass rusher,
great to hear.
That is going to be very important because, of course, if you can get pressure inside, it's easier to get pressure outside. You got a guy can get pressure inside, especially with Jalen Carter in there too. And Jalen practiced today. He didn't make a lot of noise, but he was just out there for the first day today. Jalen Carter was out there practicing, so got a chance to see a little bit of him, but he wasn't doing much. They put him in there a little bit. They're just giving him a little taste. We'll see more of him, the rest of the week and everything. But he was out there, so that the real injury. It wasn't serious or anything. So he's back out there. That was good to see. Cooper DeJean, they had him at safety today.
Huh?
They had him playing safety today. You can see they're going to move him around. He could be playing anywhere on this defense. If they're playing regular at times, you could see them even having him in their corner. They can play him anywhere they want to, and they're really comfortable wherever he's at. And you can see he's comfortable. He knows the defense, and there's certain things like he can get physical with the receiver. He's comfortable playing nickel. He has no problem walking up on a receiver, getting a jam on him, slowing down his release, covering that guy all over the field.
Do you think they're going to play more man this year?
I think they could. I wouldn't be surprised if they do, because I think with Kenyon Mitchell, there's no receiver in the league. If he's covering AJ, and he and AJ have been having some good battles, and he picked off the pass today. Where Jalen was throwing the ball to AJ.
Well, did he pick that ball off in zone, or did he pick that off in man?
It was man. It was man, and you had him go up there with one hand and come down with the ball. It was a great pick. But AJ had been running routes where he's been beating all these other guys. The whole time he's been there. But Kenyon, that's a good battle. That's the best battle in camp. Is Mitchell and AJ one-on-one? You got yourself a great battle.
Because Gary, they played 72% last year. They played the majority of the time in zone.
Yeah, I know.
And because Q's a zone, he plays in zone. He's not really not because he can't do it, and I've said that.
Yeah.
But you think that there's going to be more press coverage this year than maybe what they've had in the past, because he can do both.
Now I can't say that that Vic is going to do that, because Vic, he's a guy, he does not like big plays. He doesn't like to give up play. He would rather play, and they play kind of a matchup zone, meaning like it's not just pure zone. It's more matchup zone, meaning like you're on your guy in your zone, like you're in man-to-man. So they're not just like giving yardage up, but he feels good about that, because it's hard to throw the ball deep down there, when you got guys that can come off and cover an area, and you throwing the ball in there, man, you can get that thing picked off very easily.
Too high. Gary, my problem with the secondary is this so far.
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to go people that have had problems this week, that have struggled this week, man, it's Keely Ringo, and it's that off safety position outside of Cooper. Keely Ringo has been demoted now to the second team. They got Adoree now taking first team reps.
Yep, correct.
Do you think that the corner in the safety position, you think that is becoming more of a concern? Because I'm with you. I think Jalix Hunt and Moro Jomo have probably put everybody a little bit more at ease. Yeah. That, you feel pretty good about those two. But boy, I'll tell you, man, if you're coming out of that first week, you're not feeling good about Keely Ringo.
No, he's had some struggles. He has like that first day wasn't a good day, and he's had some struggles, but I would say I think some of it's a little jittery, because
too early. I get it.
Yeah, too early. So I'm not going to give up on it because it hasn't been any like where somebody's beating him on. No, it's a jump ball. He doesn't come down with it. AJ comes down with it with one hand or whatever and makes the play. So
is it a rep thing, Gary?
I think it's a thing where they're still getting started. Nobody's tackling anybody. So I don't think that he's like playing it all out where he's trying to get somebody hurt and stuff. I don't think that they're all the way out. Like I think if you get out there and it's tackle football and everything, I think it goes up a level. See, and he really got beat on some jump balls. That's what it was. It's not like he's getting beaten that bad. Every throw that's been completed on him, he's right there. So it's not where he's getting beaten badly or anything like that.
Who do you think? Go ahead, Gary. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
But I think with Jackson and everything, I wouldn't get too worked up about. I don't know. I couldn't see why they're going to throw him in there. You're talking about a guy so much smaller. Of course, he's older. I don't know how they feel about Jackson. It's still very early. Very early.
How about this here? Are you leaning more towards that they're going to start JAKIB Campbell inside against the Cowboys, or do you think that's still Trotter right now?
I think it's up in the air, but it's leaning Campbell. Yeah, I think it's leaning Campbell because if he's healthy and everything, the kid is a tremendous athlete. He's just a tremendous athlete. And if he's comfortable in there, and you can see he's a smart kid. He's been there at Alabama for 2 years where they're playing pro-style defenses.
Yep.
He understands. You can see the questions he's asking. I hear the questions he's asking the coach. They're talking about, he's over there talking to Zach Bourne, and they're talking like pro players. You can tell pro linebackers. He understands the thing. So it's not like he's just a raw rookie. This kid has been playing in an advanced defense. So in coming in here, he's getting used to this defense, but he's not, he's not new to playing matchup zone, because see, that's what they play. They play matchup zone. You got 3 guys over here. You're pushing there. You're really kind of playing a kind of a zone. The guy in your zone, you're in man-to-man. You're covering that guy. They're not just giving yardage away, see? So that takes some adjustments, and, you're kind of learning that as you go along. But you can see he's comfortable and he's coming along. So I would say, especially as early as it is, the chances are, he's going to be the starter in there when they start the season.
Gary, do you believe that they have more versatile athletes this year than they did a year ago?
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. And I see some of the things they're doing where you got them sliding up, where they got the Bourne, and and I don't want to be telegraphing, but the things they showed last year, where you got a guy sliding up, man, he's rushing the passer, and with either one of these guys, I like their chances of rushing the passer. They can be the guy that, they're built like a defensive end almost.
Yeah.
Especially Campbell. Man, with his arms, and if he's rushing against a tight end or a running back or anything like that, man, they're in trouble, man. They're not going to block him, and he's going to give a tackle trouble because of his speed around the corner, and he's the size of a pass rushing defensive end. That's why every day after practice, they got him working on that, rushing the pass off the corner. Yep.
Do you think that they will have multiple fronts this year? Could there be a situation, we were talking about it earlier, you think that Vic would want to ever think about when Dean comes back, or when you put this out there, that you're looking at putting Campbell, Bond, and Dean in a 3-linebacker 43? Could you ever see him doing things like that and having Hunt and Ajomo as your defensive ends and Carter and Davis as your 2? Or do you think he's still going to play out of that 34 and he's going to be more set up in that setup than he is? But because like you just said, there's multiple things you can do with these guys. And I heard JAKIB Campbell talking today that they were talking him taking extra reps after practice, talking about rushing the passer. So, I mean,
that's what he does after practice. He's over there rushing
out.
Without a doubt, I think that you're going to see some of that. They definitely are going to be able to do some things like that because of the versatility of Campbell and Bourne. You got guys that could be lining up out there as a pass rusher. You wouldn't even be surprised if they were to say, Jihad, you're doing that from now on. You're coming off the corner. The kid could do it. I mean, he's got great speed. He's got the size. He's got the arm length where he's reaching out, and he's able to grab a hold of that tackle before the tackle could get his hands on him. So you got the, you got the personnel to do things like that. See, and you can see that's why it was grinning so much when they got this kid in the first round, because they saw those things. See, and they really didn't get into all of that. They did it a little bit last year with Bourne, having him move outside, and then he's rushing the passer off the corner and everything. They will end up and probably will do some of those things. But I will tell you this though, things are unsettled there at that safety position because
Makuba.
Makuba got hurt or something. Might not be anything. It's a big deal. But
by the way, Gary, he's a little dude, man.
He is little. He definitely is little. You're right. He's little. I don't know what they're going to do there. Of course, you got him. You got Sidney Brown, battling for that spot. But we didn't really see much of Makuba today.
Is that your biggest concern on the defense? Is that
I think it's definitely a concern. I think it's definitely a concern. And, I know the way Fangio is, man, he wants he wants to be able to sleep at night because of the safeties. Meaning, like, he does not want guys that are running up there and trying to make plays at the line of scrimmage. When I got you in too deep, I want you. When I say you guys in too deep, you're in too deep, and I don't want anybody getting over your head because we don't want to give up anything easy, And that's the way he is. He does not like giving up anything easy. So there. We'll see what happens. I don't know how long he's going to be out, but you're right about Makuba being he's a little guy, man.
You know what? And too, Gary, to the point, I made this earlier with Xander. Dude, you're playing Dak, you're playing Mahomes, you're playing Stafford, and then you're going to turn around and you're going to play Mayfield. If you don't have it figured out in 38 days, they're going to figure it out for you.
You better believe it. I mean, they got their work cut out for them because, those early games, and I was talking about that, I think that's easy when that second game you're playing Kansas City. Then you got the Rams who gave them trouble last year. And then you got Tampa Bay who's been giving them trouble every time they play them. So that's the first 4 games, man. You got after playing the Cowboys, that's not easy. And I don't think they're going to get a walk in the park. They're gonna. You can see it. Look at that schedule. They're not getting any walk in the park, and they got to be ready for that now. Like what you start talking about, that safety. I know they're not sleeping good about that. The safety thing can't be. Where we're sure of what we got.
You think Christian McCullum has a bigger role then?
I think it's early.
Okay.
He's got to earn it. I didn't think like last year. I wasn't crazy about what I saw from him. I know he was coming in there backup, but I didn't like it. I mean, he gave up some big plays and things. And I know with
how about Sidney?
With Sidney, Sidney's got all the he's got the size, the speed, and everything. It's just that what I saw with Sidney, he likes to be aggressive.
Yeah.
Now if he's playing, strong safety, the way they used to play strong safety, or way, some coaches don't mind you playing strong safety, where you're almost like a fourth linebacker or a third linebacker or whatever you want to say. But that's not the way Fangio likes to play. No, when he say safety means something. Safety.
Yeah, that's too high.
He does not want you giving up any big stuff, man.
Too high.
When you got too deep, he better not see you up there and you get caught with your drawers down up there at the line of scrimmage and you realize the tight end, the quarterback still has the ball. It's a run fake. And you're up there sticking your nose in up there and you're supposed to be deep. He is not going to tolerate that much. So, but I think, Sidney Brown is smart enough to know that. He seems like he's a smart kid, but he's got to show him on the field. Look, when you say deep half, I'm in deep half, you know. As much as I would like to go in there, and because Sidney Brown likes to hit people. See, he would like to fly up and knock somebody out, or catch a guy coming across the middle and all that. But if that's not what he wants you to do, if he wants you over the top and wants to make sure you're over the top, you got to make sure you're over the top, you know.
Gary, let me now walk you back through this here. You know, I keep getting told, and people keep moving the goalpost on me about Blankenship. They told me his deal was going to get done in the offseason. Then they told me the deal was going to get done past June 1.
Yeah.
Then they told me the deal was going to get done prior to training camp. Now we're in training camp here.
Yeah.
And I heard that, again, the safety position is a major concern out there. And, I mean, you know, I haven't heard his name whatsoever out there. And it looks like that position is kind of struggling. And,
well, I mean, they talk about Justin Simmons. You know, you've heard that talk.
Yeah, I don't hear anybody raving about Reed Blankenship all of a sudden playing great back there and covering for the other guy. Because you know what? To me, the guy was CJ Garner. It wasn't – Reed was not the better safety. CJ was the better safety. And you got rid of the better guy, and that, to me, sometimes exposes Reed.
I mean, I will, you know, definitely CJ made more big plays, but I would have to tell you that, you know, Reed Blankenship is where you go home and the coach is sleeping good.
Okay.
Now that's, you know, that's what I could see from Okay. Sure tackler. Okay. Now he's pick off maybe 3-4 balls. Some key plays though, help you win some big plays. He picked up at the I mean, big times. He made picks in the time he's been here. And he's a sure tackler out in the open field. And he plays, you know, solid back there where he's supposed to be and all that. So I think that, I mean, that's why he's still here. Now, would you like to see him make more, you know, let's say get 6 pick, you know, like CJ? Yeah, you would like to see that. But he makes some. So maybe I don't know how many he had. 3 or 4, you know, he's had, and he's, you know, you don't see him missing tackles out in open field. I think you've seen CJ miss more than he has.
And they're putting Coop at safety, from what I understand, too.
Yeah, Cooper's playing safety. He's without a doubt playing safety out there. And I agree with the way they're talking about him, which is there's no way that he should be off the field. He's one of our 11 best players. I don't care how you mix it up. He should be out there on the field. And so you might see him, like I said, he line up at corner, but you see him line up at safety, and you're going to see him doing more and more of that. But he will, on first down, you're going to see him in there at safety, you know. So, and he's doing well. You see, he got a great feel for the whole game. So,
Gary, who do you think's a better player, Q or Cooper?
Oh boy, that's a tough thing to say there, because Cooper, everything, I mean, he tackles well. He likes to tackle. He's got good cover skills. And then you go Quinion, who is, you know, he could be making the jump now to where, you know, they have him 1, 2, 3, 4 top corners in the league, Kenyon Mitchell, because he can cover, man. And now with him doing better with playing the ball better, you throw the ball over there, there's a good chance, man. You know, he's going to have a chance at that ball. You're throwing the ball over there at him. So, man, that's a tough.
Why do you think he didn't have a lot of picks last year?
He didn't play the ball well. He didn't play the ball. He's looking at, you know, he
was still learning, right?
He was comfortable knocking the ball down, you know. He go over there, meaning like he's not even trying to catch it. You know, and he's not looking to make those picks, because there were numerous times where he could have had 4 or 5 picks last year, and it probably would have, you know, he would have had more noise as a, you know, Pro Bowler and all that, because the kid got great cover skills. He can run with anybody. He's got good size. So you wouldn't have I don't have any problem with putting him on anybody. And then with Cooper, you got a guy big enough to play safety, tough enough to play safety, who can cover like a cornerback. You know, it's hard to match them up against each other. They both are very, very good. And the sky's the limit for either one of them. You expect them to be, the best players at their position. That's what they're capable of doing. I mean, the best player in the league at their position, they could be that good. So, they gotta push them. I'm expecting big things out of them this year. And we got to see what we get, out of that safety spot with these other guys, like who ends up winning out of that safety spot with some of these other guys, and we'll see with Makuba how long he's going to be out. And, it's going to be interesting to see how everything works out.
Gary, how about this one here? A couple last ones for you, Gary. So Jalen Hurts, do you think he sounds, and you think with Kevin Patulo that those two guys, it just seems, I don't know, smoother, the transition this time, the way he's talking, the way Jalen's talking? Is it more so because Jalen feels more entitled to where he's been given more like this? Like, because you broached it. You said this, they're pulling it out of him. They're asking him more for his opinion on how the offense should look, how the offense should be attacking teams. Do you feel he's more like been given more of an opportunity to have an influence in how they're going to approach games this year? And which means they're empowering him more. For the first time,
yes.
Do you think they're empowering him more this year, and that's why he seems more comfortable?
I think that, they are, asking him about what does he feel about this? How does he feel about, let's say, the different plays? They were doing that before, but probably more so now. They're giving him more power. And Patulo kind of said that when they were talking to him. He was doing his interview
over the
and
weekend.
talking. And but you know what? As much as I like all of that, and that's good, and everything, production. They got to produce. They need that even the passing game, and I'm looking at them out there. It's got to be sharper. They didn't have a good day-to-day. Too many balls on the ground today. An interception, with Mitchell and so they still could get better. And I think it's good for them to have some pressure on them. That's the way you get better. So we will see. But I don't think that you can just relax. He's got his work cut out for him. I mean, Patulo's sitting on the hot seat. Come on, man.
Oh, yeah.
This team won the Super Bowl last year. That offense, and I know he's going to, not want to get away from the running game. He said it because, with the way they ran the ball last year, you can't just say, well, we're letting go to running game. No.
Gary, what's it going to look like? What's this thing? I mean, is it going to look the same? Is it going to look different? Because to me, the biggest problem that I would have is, so when you've got dominant O-linemen like that, and you got a team like Dallas who can't stop the run, and the majority of the teams in today's NFL are not built to stop the run.
Yeah.
I mean, Kevin Patulo should have it should be a snap to this just to do this. Hey, man, we're going to continue doing what we did a year ago. Maybe we're going to have my higher volume here, bud. I mean, the passing game to me doesn't seem to be is it a priority this year, or is it not a priority for the offense to work on that this year? What do you think? You think that's going to be a priority or no?
Let me tell you this. You had a guy last year ran for 2,000 yards. They're not going to get away from that. That is the core of that's just where the offense starts.
That's right.
Okay. And Patulo has said that. Come on. You think that Nick could sit there and let him just take the ball out of Saquon's hand? No. Starts with Saquon, and then we advance after that. Now, they're going to do some things, in the passing game to, change some things, to show some different looks and everything. And they think they can throw the ball better, but it's going to start with Saquon, though. He's the one that is the number one weapon in this offense. That's not going to change. And Patulo made it very clear. Come on. Could he come in here and take the ball out of his hands? No. He doesn't want to be on a train to where? Nebraska.
Wait, coaching the Argonauts.
Hey, he knows they got that offensive line. They got Saquon Barkley. That's where the offense starts. but I think you're going to see them doing more things with the way they throw the ball. And, you know, they're going to be working more guys in, you know, like I seen Jahad Dotson catching the ball a little more.
By the way, that Terrence, what's his name? Terrence.
Yeah, he's look.
Hey, that guy looks like a ball player, dude.
Yeah, he has been making good plays out there. So, but it's going to start with Saquon. Saquon, meaning like this is still running the ball. You see people out there now, a lot of the guys, 20-pound linebackers who can run and everything. Yeah, you can run, but how you like one of these guards in your face that's 350 and snuffing and running through you, and they got Barkley in back of them. We're gonna give you some of that. So they're not gonna get away. They're not gonna get away from the run. You're still gonna see the running game, and they've got to. And they're gonna make teams have to stop that. That's gonna open up their passing game and everything. And they're changing up ways they're gonna throw the ball, but it's still gonna be the dose of Saquon Barkley. That's what they're doing. That's what that offense is about.
Is there a role for Mac McWilliams?
Is there a role for him? You know, perhaps I've seen him make some good plays out there, but it's still so early. You know, I mean, I think that they could find ways to work him in, but it's so early that they're looking at everybody. They got everybody getting a shot and everything. They, you know, because they're mixing and put people out there. But you know, Fangio, you know, he's going to go back to things that he sleeps well on. You know. Putting young kids in there, you know, if the young kid's solid and everything, yeah, he can get in there. But he's gonna want to be able to sleep at night, you know. And they've got a lot of these kids.
You want me to make Gary Cobb laugh? Gary, what do you make of ramp up day? What ramp up time? You know, you're ramping up to get to 2-a-days, and just curious on what you thought of ramp up. You know, you go helmets and shorts, then you go helmets and shells. Yeah. You know, and it's ramp up time. You know,
I know
it's not just full gear 2-a-days, you know, for God knows how long.
Hey.
I mean, it's ramp up day. What do you make of that?
Hey, I've gone out there and said, you know, hey, and you know, you got all old guys, and some of the guys are out there, and we could be over there talking, we never did this. This is stupid, whatever. Look. If they're getting, you know, hey, they're getting trophies, okay?
I know, man.
And they're winning the thing. I am not running my mouth. You know, I can learn just like everybody else. So, hey, if they find a way to win, if this is winning, you know, but they need these kids, and we're gonna see more and more when these games, they start playing some games and put on the pads and everything, like we'll see later on this week. We'll be able to see them more, to start seeing who looks good and, you know, and who doesn't look good. But you know, so far I don't get all worked up about what you see now, because they're not tackling. Nobody's tackling each other yet.
Two last ones here that are, do you believe the offense gets out to a fast start, or do you believe it gets out to a slow start like it did a year ago?
I think the good chance is that they will get out to a fast start, because people are going to be trying to stop Saquon Barkley. You know, that running game, I think it's going to make it easier to throw the ball. You cannot line up with something that's going to be great against everything. And people have got to say, we got to stop Barkley. We got to stop him. And so I think it's going to make throwing the ball easier, but they're still going to run the ball a lot. You know, I think they're still, you know, we'll see how that other truck they got out there.
AJ Dillon. Holy cow, that dude's a horse.
That's a big dude, man. So, and they're going to be feeding him too. You know, we'll see how healthy he is, man. But he's a big dude.
I'll tell you what, they look like the Clydesdale horses, man. You know, Budweiser has them. Two dudes are big.
You know what?
Dudes.
They need to do an ad.
Yeah.
You know, that's that. They be the Clydesdale. I have never seen running backs with legs,
man, that
you going like, golly, man. I am not putting my head down there to tackle one of those guys low, man, with the legs like that.
That dude, AJ Dillon, I looked it up. This guy never had less than 700 yards rushing. I know he missed a year ago with his pinched nerve. Mm-hmm. He never started more than 2 games.
Wow.
I mean, and this guy was up there behind Aaron Jones, and this guy's got 700-800 yards every year.
Well, I tell you, if he does that this year, that will be a shot in the arm, and that takes pressure off Saquon, which I think is a good move. But he's an inside rusher, a pounder, and everything, and that's what this line, man. They want to get physical against people, so that'll be a good guy behind him to rest Saquon at times.
Last one here. Do you think the defense gets out to a fast or slow start?
It's hard for me to say that I think they're going to get off to, a fast start because you got so many young people, but I do think in ways in seeing them playing against the Eagles offense, though, that they're ahead of where they were last year. You show that they're showing different looks.
Oh, you think they're ahead of where that defense was last? Wow.
They are ahead of where they were last year because he's put in more stuff. You got more guys that are comfortable and they know his system. So there's a chance that they won't take as long to come around this year. So that's what we got to hope for. And then if they're playing well at the start of it all, man, that's going to be great things because, they could get off to a fast start against that tough schedule early. That's going to be a shot in the arm, man. And,
those first four.
Those first four is going to be but this is fun, man. This is what it is. I'm not losing sleep over it, but of course.
Rest of Philly is, I'll tell you that.
No, I think they got a lot of talent, man. They got a lot of good football players. On that, we're seeing that on the defensive side. They got a lot of good football players, so they should be able to get it done, man.
Absolutely. Gary Cobb, thank you so much, man. I appreciate your insight as I always do. I'll make sure I tell Howard Eskin hello for you.
Hey, you guys want to do it again? They want to do it again, man.
Better get out there. Better get it going. G Cobb, thank you, brother.
All right, buddy. Have a good one.
Gary Cobb, Fox 29 in Philadelphia. Please hit the like button for us here. Xander, if we have any supers, let's read them. We will have Howard Eskin at the bottom of the hour, by the way. Sills, what do you make of the Christian Wilkins saga? Heard they said he was kissing heads and doing toe kiss drive-bys. I don't know, man. A generational fruity. So you think he got cut because he was, blowing kisses, literally, in the locker room? And it wasn't like his foot injury because the guy was a little weird? Hey, listen, man, I'm going to make a point to you here. Be pumper. If the guy's a little, I don't really care. Can you make tackles? Okay? Are you suggesting, Pump, he's the last dude off the pile? Is that what you're suggesting? Damn, Pump. What are you suggesting? I'm not getting it. What is he saying here? Blowing kisses? Hey, Pump, I don't know what you mean there. All right. I don't know what you're suggesting. I don't know. Tender loving care? I don't know. I'm going to behave. So things are going pretty good for Big Sills right now. By the way, Twiz, that was your mom that was walking through the snow to get to Big Sills' house. Just so you know. Okay? That wasn't me walking through the snow 5 miles. That was your mom. Hit the like button. How you doing? How you doing, man? Okay. Wait a minute here. He got fined last year for pinching Josh Allen on the wiener Sills. The man's deranged. Well, wait a minute now. Draymond Green did that shit too, and so did Dennis Rodman. Okay? They did that stuff to get under your skin, though, too. So, before you start passing judgment on something, those guys did that shit too. Rodman used to do that stuff all the time to Karl Malone. Okay? So, I don't know. There's a part of me that is very weird. There's a part of me that is a gamesmanship. I don't know. That, You don't need to have a wiener, bro, when you've got 60 large in the bank every year. And every Tuesday, direct deposit looks a little different than all the rest of us. I don't care what you have. I know this, 60 mil going into the bank. You could say whatever you want about Josh Allen. He's got 60 large going into the bank every Tuesday. And every year he's got that going into the bank. Okay? Hey, yeah, of course. So as you see the Phillies fan, Kenny flicking as a girl at the Yankee Stadium. And Phillies fan, Kenny flicking in his girl at Yankee Stadium. You see he hurt his hamstring already? Kenny flick it. Flick it. Yeah. Hey, prayers go out to Dion, man. That was pretty dope that, he came forward and told people that, he had an issue out there. So yeah, I mean, that was troubling to hear that he's going through, had a tumor and they had it replaced. So all Sills heard from the interview is Vic can't sleep. Thanks, Twiz. That's not all I heard. Look at Twiz. Thinking for big cells. Worst mistake you could ever make in your entire life. Get who on? Get Nancy Donnellan on? Joy did really well here on the program. You guys were half savaged. So it was pretty good. All right, I got to pay some bills, man. Xander gave me a bunch of shit at the beginning of the show for it. He said, "Dave, we got to work on some commercial stop sets here. You're going the whole 3 hours without doing anything." He's like, "Let's go, bro. We know we got to pay some bills here. So let's do it here with our friends at Morgan & Morgan." Without a doubt, the number one injury law firm in all of America. And we're so proud to have been part of the National Football Show with Big Sills. And you guys make it possible for him to sponsor the program. Guys, I'm telling you, if you're ever injured in anything or you know of anybody, do me a favor. Make sure you tell them about Morgan & Morgan. We were talking about John over the weekend, my family. You know how he got into the business, right? You guys don't know. Some of you don't know. His brother got paralyzed for the rest of his life at Disney. John made it a quest to make sure anybody who ever got injured would always have fair representation where somebody couldn't take advantage of him. It became a drumbeat for him. And that's how the company was built. His brother being paralyzed. That's how Morgan & Morgan was built, because John didn't like how a company was treating his brother. It wasn't just a guy who went out there and let's start an injury law firm, the number one injury law firm. His brother was paralyzed. And that's the essence of Morgan & Morgan. And that's why it's a number one injury law firm. Family owned, family run. And they believe in families across the country if you're ever injured. So again, this is why we're great friends with John. Make sure you log on because he'll represent you like every member of his family. Go to forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529 to do me a favor. You tell him Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
Your financial future is on the line. Are you ready for what's next? At Leone & Company Wealth Management, we help young professionals, business owners, and pre-retirees navigate the complexities of building and protecting wealth. For young professionals, we'll help you grow your wealth, plan for your future, and make the most of your hard-earned dollars. For business owners, we provide strategies to protect your company, manage risks, and create a lasting legacy for both your business and personal wealth. For pre-retirees, we'll design a plan to secure your retirement, ensuring you can live comfortably and confidently in your next chapter. Whether you're just starting out, managing a thriving business, or preparing for retirement, we're here to help you take control of your financial future. The first consultation is on us. Get the advice you need without the cost. Let's make your financial vision a reality. Take the next step. Scan the QR code to schedule your free consultation today. And of course, go Birds.
They're carving them up and good play calling along the way. First and goal at the 6.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
In our hometown, we all look out for each other. We step up to keep our communities going strong. And at Independence Blue Cross, we're here to keep you going strong as the #1 health insurer in the region. No IBX is always looking out for you.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Hit the like button. Big Sills here. We would have our Howard Eskin at the bottom of the hour here. So we're looking forward to that. Craig Carton working on John Gruden for this week. Bunch of folks. As we did a week ago, man, we had a bunch of great. Look at this here. Look at Yale reading my mind. So we got a bunch of people lined up. I can't wait to show Howard this. There it is, folks. Wampum. Dick Allen goes into, and I have this on my desk. Him and Reggie are my two favorite ball players. Dick Allen and Reggie. Man, I love these two. It was great to see, unfortunately, him and Dave Parker go into the Hall of Fame. You know, and they weren't alive to know that they ended up going into the Hall of Fame. There it is, Dick Allen. He gave me this personally and signed this, Paul. Let's see here. Has it got that sticker still thing on it? Yeah, there it is. It's on the side there. Major League Baseball. Who's the commissioner? Oh, it's Selig. That's how old this is. Bud Selig signed, or Bud Selig baseball is on this thing. Not a Rob Manfred. So it was great to see Dick Allen. Hey, if I'm not mistaken, Dick Allen and Reggie were both born in the Philly area. Is that right? Right? So, I mean, yeah. See Jerry Jones? And Stephen Jones. Maka's got to want it. He's got to want to be on the team. He's got to want to be signed. Man, the Cowboys, you guys are running circles around the Cowboys, man. They just don't get it. They do not get it. They never will get it. Man, I don't believe the Dallas Cowboys want to win a Super Bowl ever again. They will not be in a position to win a Super Bowl until the Jones family does not own that football team anymore. They are just not going to win. You know why they're not going to win? I think it's because they don't want to win. I mean, You've got to move off of Dak. You've got to move. I mean, look at the head coaching hire. Why wouldn't you have hired Belichick? Why wouldn't you have hired Carroll? Why wouldn't you have gotten a competent coach in there instead of going after a guy like Schottenheimer? I mean, and get this, guys, they had Sean Payton in the building when he was there with Parcells. Micah Parsons and this whole fiasco with his contract, God, I think he's overrated. John McMullen will make you feel he's Lawrence Taylor. I said it a bunch of times. That guy's not Cornelius Bennett. He's not. He's not better than Cornelius Bennett. Seems the Cowboy players and owners act like it's a Bushwood Country Club. They're acting like it's like a reality TV show. I want to make a point to you here about when I say he's not even Cornelius Bennett. Let me show you something about who Cornelius Bennett is. And you tell me if he'll have a better career in your opinion than Cornelius Bennett. Okay? You tell me. Here's Cornelius Bennett, who's been on this program, and I love Cornelius. Okay? Here's Cornelius Bennett. He was the AFC Defensive Player of the Year twice in 1988 and 1991. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first team. He's on the NFL's 1990s All-Decade team. He's a Lombardi Award winner in college, played at Alabama. He was the SEC Defensive Player of the Year. He was a 3-time All-SEC player. 6-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first team, and 2-time AFC Defensive Player of the Year. How many people believe that Micah Parsons will have a better resume than that? And on top of that, that guy's been to 5 Super Bowls. 5 Super Bowls. Okay, he went to 4 with the Bills and went 1 with Atlanta. Albeit they didn't win, but he was in 5 Super Bowls. You think Micah Parsons is going to lead his team to anything remotely close to that? I don't see it. That guy will not have the career that Biscuit had. And people are going like this guy's a generational player. Okay, wake me up. When you're better than Cornelius Bennett. Let me see something here in sacks. How many sacks did he have? Biscuit had 72 sacks. Dude's a fucking great player, man. The guy should be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Sills, ESPN won't tell you this. The Cowboys haven't been past the divisional playoffs or the Super Bowl since they implemented the salary cap in 94. Jerry Jones can't buy teams no more. Yeah, I know. And he's afraid of turning power over to somebody that knows what they're doing when running the team. Absolutely. I don't know where the Cowboys are going. I know this. They're not going anywhere with what they have constructed right now. And hey, Rico, and it didn't hurt that Bennett had Bruce Smith on the other side. I get it. Bruce Smith is on the other side. Bruce Smith's the second best pass rusher, defensive end, next to Reggie during that time. Okay, I mean, here, this is a great one here. Who would want to play in Dallas? Who would want to play in Dallas? Boy, I'll tell you, the Eagles have to really, you're in the Eagle fan base, has to be doing this to Cowboy fans. Bro, I mean, you're not even worth bringing up anymore. I mean, Eagle people are talking about Detroit, the Rams, Green Bay. What are the Cowboys? Where are they going? You're trying to tell me you really think Michael Parsons is a better player than Cornelius Bennett, who's a 6-time Pro Bowler, 4-time first team, 2-time AFC Player of the Year, and I don't see it. Do you want to hear this number here about Parsons? Every year he's been a starter in Dallas, they've averaged 19th in total defense. Where's the impact? I'm gonna pay him $42 million for what? I'm gonna say something that's probably not gonna be really cool. But as long as that guy's alive, the Cowboys will never win. That's a fact. You know why? Because he's too arrogant. And when you're that old guy like that, you have no filter and you have FU money, you're just going to go like this. Hey, man, you know what? He's like your old grandpa that just doesn't have a filter. You know, you bring a date home and your grandpa starts barking stuff. You're like, oh, God. That's what Jerry is. Guy's dogging people. All right. Before I bring Howard Eskin up, folks, I got to show you this. I just showed it to you before. Look at this right here. See this bad puppy? That's Dick Allen. You see this right here? This right here growing up. When Dick Allen used to say things to Howard Eskin at first base and used to use his cleats to write and say things to Howard and everybody else in Philly, in the Philly media. And he was doing that to all, you know what he would do? When the people in Philly were booing him at the vet, he was drawing circles and he was communicating with everybody in Philadelphia, most notably the media. And because the media would dog him. And listen, like I said, Philly's a tough place to play. You got to know, So Dick Allen used to write things and the first baseline. And, dude, when he went to the White Sox and he won that MVP award, he was a beast in Chicago. And for him to make it into the Baseball Hall of Fame, I thought it was awesome over the weekend. Unfortunately, he'll never know that, because he passed away, but him and Dave Parker, a lot alike in the style of baseball when those two guys were playing. I mean, Dave Parker, great arm. How about this number here? Dave Parker going into the Hall of Fame. Do you know in right field, for 31 years, they had Clemente and Parker playing in right field. And they had the best arms for almost 4 decades in right field in Pittsburgh. That's a way to go. Pittsburgh had a great franchise. When I grew up, I don't ever remember the Pirates being bad. They were always good when I grew up. Same with the Reds. They were always good. But see this guy here, Wampum, Pennsylvania. Man, I love this guy. God, he was one of my favorite players. And you know who introduced me to him, who he signed this ball? It was Terry Francona. Terry Francona went over when I was doing radio in Tampa on WDAE. And the Phillies were at the Clearwater facility. He goes, hey, come down here. And I was like this, holy cow, there's Dick Allen. And he signed a baseball for me and gave it to me. He was the Rookie of the Year. I believe that was with the Dodgers that he was the Rookie of the Year, and it was great to see him go into the Hall of Fame. All right. All that being said, I couldn't wait to get Howard. By the way, I've got one of Howard's friends on tomorrow. Craig Carton will be on, so we will talk with him. Bunch to hit on here with Howard. If you missed his podcast this past weekend, make sure you go back and check it out. Without further ado, we bring our boy in. And our really good friend, we bring Howard Eskin in with him. How you doing, Howard?
Never had a bad day in my life, although I can't say there haven't been some bad moments. Hey, let me tell you something. I wish I'd have known you were going to show that because I have a bat.
No way.
From Dick Allen, and he signed it. And I'm pretty sure he signed it Richie. And that's the way I knew him when I first grew up because he was Richie Allen. And he signed it Richie Allen. And, he swung the heaviest bat in baseball. what they used to do in baseball at the bottom of the nub, on the bottom of the bat, in pencil, they used to write the ounces of the bat. Manny Sanguillen of the Pirates, for people that don't know, had a 38-ounce bat. Dick Allen, or Richie Allen, when he started, Dick Allen had a 41-ounce bat. Now, players realize the lighter the bat and bat speed is important for hitting the baseball. And now they press the bat so hard, and it's just, you don't worry about the bat being heavy. Now the average is probably 33, 34 ounces. 41 is a lot heavier to swing that bat. I have his bat, and I when I heard you say that, I looked around and I couldn't find it, but I have it here. I have
That's bigger
bat.
than Ruth's baseball bat. A 41 ouncer is bigger than Ruth swung. I mean, that's incredible that he swung that big a bat. And by the way, folks don't know, Manny Sanguillen was Clementi's best friend, and when Clementi's plane went down, the guy who went and looked for him was Manny. They never found his body, and he went and looked for him when the plane went down. So. Boy, I got to tell you, is it sour grapes, though, for the folks in Philly that Dick Allen goes into the Hall of Fame? You know, he passed away. He doesn't really know. I mean, do you think it's sour grapes a little bit? Because he should have been in years ago.
Well, I'm going to give you a little backstory here. And I think it's been denied. But from what I understand from the people that knew, he needed one of those votes with the Veterans Committee. This committee that voted him now, they have another committee. I forget what it's called. The Golden Age Committee or whatever it is. But the Veterans Committee, Dave Dombrowski, currently the Phillies general manager, worked for Reinsdorf. And Reinsdorf had a problem with Dick Allen when he played with the White Sox. Just didn't like his personality. Dave Dombrowski voted against Richie Allen, Dick Allen, getting into the Hall of Fame at the Veterans Committee on one of the votes.
And he missed it by like 1 or 2 votes, didn't he?
One.
Oh, my God.
And he would have been alive.
Oh, my God. And of course, nobody in Philly's bringing that up right now. That Dombrowski's vote was the one that potentially kept him out of the Hall of Fame when he was alive.
Yes. Yes. Now, Dave Dombrowski's a good guy, and I don't mean to bury him, but that's just an egregious mistake. And just because, I mean, he was tight with Reinsdorf, obviously working for the White Sox, but it was disgraceful that he didn't get voted in before he passed away, with at least the Veterans Committee. First of all, second of all, third of all, I'm getting like Charles Barkley. To have Dave Parker wait over 20 years, you just mentioned Dave Parker. His numbers are mind-boggling. I started to check his numbers against Bryce Harper, who wants to be in the Hall of Fame. Obviously, he does. You know, trying to, whatever, to set himself up for that. Numbers dictate that. Do you know Dave Parker had 5 years he batted over 300. Bryce Harper has 2 so far. Dave Parker won, 2 or 3 batting titles? Okay.
No, three batting titles, 2 MVPs.
Yeah, well, an MVP in the All-Star game and an MVP in the regular season. It's just, and he won 3 Gold Gloves.
Yeah.
He had a great arm. He was a great right fielder. His numbers just blow Bryce Harper's numbers away. But the point I'm trying to make is, why did it take over 20 years? At least he was alive when he knew he got in, but he passed away before.
Howard, was it that story wasn't it him and Hernandez that was an issue with drugs back in the day? And there was stories that they put out there about him, because I know Hernandez had an issue with it when he was with the Cardinals, and then I'm not sure with the Mets, but
yeah, the uppers. That was the era of uppers and downers.
Okay,
kinda, yeah. So downers, they would take uppers. The they kind of juice you up, and then you fire it up by drinking a cup of coffee before the game after you take it. Right. You know, I've never seen it, so I can't tell you. But there was some stories, but that's still not fair.
Totally.
When it's still not fair. Big Papi got in, and everybody really believes that he did steroids, but he wasn't in any of those reports that we know about that became public. So, any great guy, both of them are great guy. I mean, I didn't know Dave Parker well, but whenever he came to Philadelphia, he was always so nice to people. He was just a good guy, and veterans are more like that than today's players. But the fact that it took him over 20 years with those numbers are staggering. And Mike Schmidt said, and he said this numerous times, and he and Mike got along really well. That's how I got to know, and I always call him Richie because I grew up knowing him, Richie. Dick Allen, and I knew him. He knew me, and we.
Did he have a good relationship with the Philly fans?
He was so quiet because Miss Schmidt was really tight with him that I think it helped. And people applauded him when he came back in 75, got a hit in his first at bat when he came back to the Phillies, which was, I was there. You had goosebumps when you saw him come back, and oh my gosh.
Man, I loved him, man. I did.
It was so great. But Mike Schmidt said for 5 years, he was the best player in baseball.
Yep.
Better than Willie Mays, better than Hank Aaron.
Reggie.
He was unbelievable. But Willie Mays and Hank Aaron are at the top of the list.
Yeah.
Willie Mays might be the greatest player. You know, I guess you could say Babe Ruth because of his numbers, and he pitched, and he was an everyday player. But excluding Babe Ruth, Willie Mays, I think, was the greatest player that ever played the game. And it's just that he obviously watched him and saw him when he was growing up. He saw Dick Allen. It's mind-boggling. I remember Connie Mack Stadium, which was the old stadium, and I went there. Obviously, I wasn't covering the team back then, but my dad, I saw him hit a home run. Connie Mack Stadium had a roof that went from the left field foul line to center field. He hit it over the roof.
Where was that stadium? Where was that stadium?
21st and Lehigh was the address. 21st and Lehigh.
Okay.
So 21st and Lehigh is in North Philadelphia, and it's just so. I mean, it was great. I have seats from Connie Mack. I have a turnstile from Connie Mack. It's just I can't get away from it because when I first started watching baseball as a little kid, I went to Connie Mack Stadium. Loved Sandy Koufax and watched him pitch there. It's just so many memories, but Dick Allen was a memory that you'll never forget. One of the greatest baseball players, and it's a travesty that it took him so long to get in the Hall of Fame.
Absolutely.
I mean, the Phillies, it took forever. I have a picture, and I'm going to see if you guys can see it. That's Dick Allen. Dick Allen, when he finally got his number retired, he came to the ceremony at Citizens Bank Park, finally got his number retired, and that was at the ceremony where he got his number retired.
That's dope. 15, man.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. When I saw him in Chicago at Old Comiskey, and I never saw him. Wait, I did see him when he was at the Phillies, and he came to Shea. And that big old bat he used to swing, man. Everyone, it was so imposing. He was such an imposing player. And I remember how I met him. So Francona used to come on my show all the time when I was doing my Tampa show, because you guys have that facility there in Clearwater. And so he goes, come over. So, Howard, I'm not supposed to be, as a media guy, you're not supposed to have a Google anything, right? So he goes like this, Sileo, there's Dick Allen. And I go like this. Yes, that sure is Dick Allen. And he came over, shook my hand, and I go, dude, I have an old jersey at home with Wampum when you were with the A's, and it had Wampum on the back because
yes,
what's his name did something weird with, I think it was Charlie Finley, did something weird wherever you were from. You got a chance to put where you're from on it. And so I said, I got to have that jersey. And so I bought a jersey that, and I had him sign it, but it was an Oakland A's jersey with him having wampum on the back.
Yeah, I remember the jersey. I remember it. It's just Wampum, Pennsylvania. For
Yeah.
those people, I couldn't tell you where Wampum is, other than it's in Pennsylvania. But that's where he came from. He just quiet guy, and I've talked to him a few times, but he was different. But that doesn't mean he wasn't a great ball player.
Absolutely.
And
Howard, let me get
that's
some
what he was.
Eagle stuff here. Let me ask you this. Well, Kevin Patulo, okay, if he is the right guy for Jalen, how come the team passed him up twice to be the offensive coordinator? Once for Brian Johnson, and then once for outside the organization, they went with Kellen Moore. If he's so ready for that job, then why did they pass him over twice?
Well, he worked with Nick Sirianni before that. So, and he's still with Nick Sirianni. Why did they pass him up? It wasn't Kellen Moore. He was an offensive coordinator somewhere. Was it with the Dallas Cowboys? Oh, the Chargers.
Dallas, and then the Chargers.
Okay.
And he got fired actually in his last two jobs. And the Eagles hired him. Now, fired may not be fair because Jim just wanted to have his own people in Los Angeles. So, but again, they went outside the organization. Why am I to believe now that this is the right time for him to be the coordinator of that team?
Well, I think Brian Johnson's probably an unfair because didn't Brian Johnson, I'm trying to remember history, know Jalen Hurts in high school?
Yeah, Houston.
Yeah, okay. So in high school, so they tried to make Jalen Hurts comfortable with who was there. And the player shouldn't dictate who the coach is. It shouldn't dictate who the manager is, shouldn't dictate who the coach is. But I think the Eagles early kind of fell into that trap because Jalen Hurts was comfortable with him, and they thought that would help him develop in the NFL. As it turns out, where's Brian Johnson now? Is he with not the Redskins?
Yeah, he is
Commanders.
He is. Well, I believe the Redskins' name is coming back, but okay, Commanders. He's a quarterback coach there with Cliff Kingsbury there in Washington with Jaden Daniels.
Right. So, so those kind of things. I think Kevin Patulo is a really sharp guy. I've talked to him many times over the years. I think he's a really sharp guy. Nick Sirianni trusts him. He's seen because he was on the sidelines for these games. And I'm sure I know he's talked to Nick Sirianni during the games. So he had a comfort level with him. I don't think it's necessarily fair to say, well, he was passed over for this guy. Well, the guy was already, Kellen Moore was already an offensive coordinator. Brian Johnson had a history with Jalen Hurts going back to high school, and they thought that would help him. And they tried to do so many things to try to help the comfort of Jalen Hurts in his development as a quarterback. I think Kevin Patulo. Now, again, players have to make plays. The offensive line stays intact and stays healthy. Health is the most important thing. Yeah. And the Eagles had health last year where Detroit didn't. And I think the Eagles were better than Detroit, but you don't know how good that game could have been if Detroit had stayed healthy. So you have a great offensive line. You have great wide receivers in A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. And you have a terrific running back, which I had Jason Avant on last week, a former wide receiver for the Eagles. And now he's still around Philadelphia, and he works in and around with the Eagles. He doesn't think that Saquon Barkley was as big an effect on Jalen Hurts as I do. If you can run the ball the way the Eagles ran the ball, then you put the ball up in the air less times.
Yeah.
And by putting the ball up in the air less times, you eliminate more chances for turnovers.
You're right.
And the Eagles had a great plus minus in turnovers. Unbelievable. I don't think they had a turnover in the playoffs.
No.
In all the playoff games. Not one. That's amazing. And that's going to win you games. If you're +2, you win 55, 60% of the time. It's hard to win when you're -2 turnovers in a football game.
And you're playing football, Howard. You're playing football with the fact that you're doing high or less percentage turnover plays. Passing game is higher percentage of turnovers versus run game.
Yep.
Of course he had an impact on his play.
You know what's amazing? I don't know what's going to happen in Cleveland, but I know from talking to people, Joe Flacco has a great arm. But Joe Flacco, and I like Joe. Joe's from the area, and I know Joe. And who knows, he might be the starter at the beginning of the season. But he's prone to turnovers.
Yes.
And Cleveland, I think Cleveland led the AFC in turnovers. If they didn't lead it, they were one of the top 2 or 3. And that is what has to change. And I'm just trying to make the point. I care about Cleveland because I like Kevin Stefanski and I think he's a good coach. But the point I'm trying to make is turnovers in the passing game, as you mentioned, really happen more in the passing game than they do when you run the football. And when the Patriots were cheating under Bill Belichick and Tom Brady and deflating footballs, a running back did not have a fumble that season.
Yes.
Now, the football is deflated less. It's easier to hold the football.
Now, Howard, they got a rule, though. You're not allowed to put the football out from the 3-yard line in. And there was always a rule in New England where a lot of players, what they'll do is they'll reach for the goal line. Belichick had a rule. You had to have 2 hands on the football, 3 yards in, because he always believed in protecting the football. However, you're not buying anything when it comes to the fact when Bill went like this, hey, ask the quarterback. I don't know. That ain't got nothing to do with me.
He knew how many pencils were in the coach's office. He had the exact count of the number of pencils. Give me a break. He's such a he's not even in my top 6 all-time coaches. But
you're kidding me. Come on.
No. I mean, Andy Reid's number 1.
Oh my God! Wait a minute, Angelo. Did you hear that?
Andy Reid's number 1. I mean, he develops guys. Andy Reid has a stable of coaches that have had success in the NFL. Tell me one assistant coach that Bill Belichick had in the NFL that was a success.
Same with Jimmy. None of them.
Well, I didn't know that about Jimmy, but tell me how many. Everybody says Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel wasn't a coach; he was a player under Belichick.
That's right.
Yeah, he was a player. So, and Josh McDaniels was a fraud as a head coach.
He was.
A coordinator, I'm not even sure, but as a fraud as a head coach. So he developed no one. Andy Reid developed coaches. He developed quarterbacks. It's like John Gruden. John Gruden had a way with quarterbacks, and he worked with Andy Reid. Now he worked in Green Bay, but he worked with Andy Reid in Philadelphia.
Yep.
So he's developed a lot of guys. He's a great coach. The players play for him. He knows what he's doing. He's great offensively. He's number 1. And, I don't know that you can't put Tom Landry or Bill Walsh or
how about Chuck Noll?
I was just going to say, and Chuck Noll. All those coaches are ahead of Belichick. All of them. Hey, listen, when you cheat, you got to be – they don't put guys in the Hall of Fame who did steroids, right? That they knowing they did steroids. Yep. So Bill Belichick can't be the best coach because he cheated.
So
and knowingly cheated.
You hold that against Brady too, then?
Yeah. Brady's a great quarterback, but he's not the best all time.
Would you take Montana over him?
100%. Not even close. 100%. Joe Montana.
I'm biased too. I played against Joe, so I'm biased.
Okay. I don't think he had an interception in the Super Bowl.
Never
lost a Super Bowl.
Never.
Yeah. Brady, actually, 2 of their wins were really losses if Shanahan hadn't gone brain dead and had Matt Ryan try to pass when he's on the 21-yard line. What are you doing? You kick a field goal, you're up 11, the game's over. Okay, so he screwed that up. And Pete Carroll who was the offensive coordinator? Let him stick with that play of passing.
Oh my God! He threw the pick on the 1-yard line. Malcolm Butler.
I don't know who the offensive coordinator was with calling the plays, but Pete Carroll's responsible. And with Marshawn Lynch, and you had a timeout. He says, "Oh, we were on the whatever he said, whatever Pete Carroll said. They had a timeout. So if it didn't work with Marshawn Lynch running the ball, then you could have called a timeout and you still had another play. And Russell Wilson in the red zone was mediocre. He is one of the more overrated quarterbacks in the NFL. His defense gave him great field position, and in the red zone, usually the team was in the 20s as far as scoring in the red zone. Listen, that was a stupid play. So New England won 2 games that should have lost.
Let me go here with you. What is a Howard Eskin topic right now of concern for you with the team after the first week of training camp? Now, I don't know if you can make anything out of it, but going into training camp, let's phrase it this way. What would be the number one concern with you on why this team won't repeat? And I'll ask you the other way, why will they repeat if they can? Why won't they repeat?
Well, it has nothing to do with the first week of camp. Cam Jurgens made a great point today. All these morons and nitwits and dopes that run out stats, that tweet out stats or tweeted out.
I wonder who you're talking about.
It's just Captain Clickbait. But whatever it is, Cam Jurgens said, we didn't have pads on. All these stats you see on Twitter are meaningless. It's 7-on-7s, no pads. It's a complete joke. It's a joke. And the quarterback, even in camp, knows that he can't get hit. So there's no sacks. But 7-on-7.
Wait a minute, Howard. He had a C- today. He had a C- in a pick today. Did Jalen? We got to be fair.
Yeah, well, they had pads on today. So Cam Jurgens, of all guys, the fact that he stepped up and called all that nonsense out was great today. It was great. But what is my concern? I don't think it has anything to do with the first week of camp. I think it's injuries are your concern.
Okay.
You played a lot of games last year. There were they probably have depth on the offensive and defensive line, but they don't have depth in as much in other areas. You always worry about the running back after all those carries the following year, but seems like Saquon Barkley's in great shape. It's just something. And now it's not the way it used to be. I remember when DeMarco Murray came to the Eagles after having all those carries with the Cowboys, and he was a stiff with the Eagles because he had too many carries. But the game's different. You practice less. Players get off during the week. So I would say I'm not worried about the depth in the secondary. I'm not worried about because they have 2 really, really good young players in Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean. Really good young players. Zach Baughn's got to have another. He doesn't have to have the year he had last year, but he has to have a good year because he
got to be close, though, right? Don't you think it's got to be close?
Yeah, he got to elevate to close to that. But I think Jordan Davis will be better and play more plays. I love when he said he lost weight. Yeah, I lost 20. I think he said 26 pounds. 26. I lost 26 pounds. I'm now 330. My gosh, he was 356.
Yeah.
He lost 26 pounds to get to 330. Yeah, but he's in better shape.
Here's the problem, though, Howard. Here's the problem I have with that. You're a professional football player. It took you 4 years to realize you had to be in shape. Come on here, guy. This is pro football here, man.
He said he's getting older. He's 25. 25 is the prime of your career.
I know he's 25, but it took him 4 years to figure it out.
I think Jordan Davis really put himself out to have a good offseason and to lose some weight, and I give him credit for that. But he's basically on a contract here.
Oh, yes.
You think that helps a little bit?
Oh, yes. Oh, you have your agent and your girlfriend or whomever telling you, you know what they did? I think the Eagles gave him a love tap on the shoulder and said, we like you a lot. We're going to pick your 5th year up. You're not getting the extension until you show me that you're going to be that player. But I think they're telling him they want him here. And he's
absolutely. Yeah. He with Jalen Carter, 2 studs on that defensive line. And I think Nolan Smith is going to step up this year. He's an edge rusher, listed as linebacker, whatever he's listed at. He's going to be a pass rusher, and I think he's going to be really good. Great personality, but has a really good work ethic. So injuries would be my answer to what my concern is. And you come off a Super Bowl, only 17 teams that have come off a Super Bowl have gotten back the next year. Now, a lot of those teams were losing teams, and they never get back. The Eagles were a winning team. So that the stats there, but and all this, I love the way the Eagles and they're programmed by Nick Sirianni. It's a good message. You're not defending champs. Well, they are defending champs. You can say you're not defending champs all you want. You're defending champs.
Why are they afraid to say that?
Well, because they don't want them to live off of the success they had the previous year, and don't get caught up in we're good enough. And they had an off season where they had the young guys had a lot of attention,
Yep.
And they probably didn't have to pay for a meal. They didn't have to pay for any, and that's okay. But it's different for a lot of those players. So you didn't accomplish anything this year. Last year is last year. Don't look back, look forward. But this. And Nick Sirianni said today, it's like a boxer, or it's not like a boxer.
Right.
It is like the boxer is a defending champ. Well, a boxer starts out, round one.
As the champ.
The Eagles start out round one, the opening game against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
And I heard Jerry Jones say something, I guess it was today or yesterday at camp. It's going to be different in 2025. No, it's not. No, it's not. You have Dak Prescott, who you're never going to win a Super Bowl. Never. That's Never, by the way, for those Cowboys fans that can't spell. Never going to win a Super Bowl with Dak Prescott. Never. He builds up numbers when he's behind. And you're right about Micah Parsons. Once he gets that money, he's history. The Eagles, he never has good games against the Eagles.
Ever.
Never.
That guy's a Velcro pad to Lane Johnson. I mean, every time I see him, he's stuck to him like that. And
yep.
I mean, he really does. Howard, let me ask you this last one here. Would you make of Bryce Harper? What'd you make of him going after the commissioner and telling him to F off over a salary cap? Because the commissioner knows that the current pay structure in baseball is not going to work with big market, small market. What'd you make of him going after him like that?
It was wrong. I mean, it's a simple one-word answer. It was wrong. You got to have respect, whether you like the commissioner or not. And I don't like all the things he put in place.
You think he's overrated, Harper?
He's not as good now as he was a few years ago.
Correct.
Okay. So he's not as good now as he was a few years ago. He won't have 400 home runs by the end of next year. He's got 351 now, or maybe 352, somewhere in there. So he won't have 400 home runs by next year.
He'll never hit 500.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so, because he swings hard. He swings for home runs, but he gets hurt that way with his wrist. And he's got 6 years after this year. Is he overrated? I don't think he should hit 3 in the lineup, because I don't think three hitter is an RBI guy. He's an RBI guy, and he's a home run guy.
You think he should hit 5th?
Yes. Yeah, I do. I think somebody else has got a pot. Now, I don't know who should go in there, but he's not a classic 3. I wouldn't have a problem with Schwarber hitting 3, and then put somebody up. I like Stott, Turner, Stott. Stott would be better because he's good at working a pitcher. Schwarber, and then Bohm's hurt. Bohm makes contact. Again, you don't have to hit. They live on home runs. They scored in the final game against the Yankees. Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
They had 3 runs, and it was 3 home runs, 3 solo home runs. You're not going to win. You're not going to win like that. Is he overrated?
I think Schwarber's out of place. I think they need him lower in the lineup, like you just said. I mean, here's a guy that's going to give you 250 strikeouts, but he's going to give you 46 homers. That, to me, is a 3-hole or 4-hole guy.
Yeah, it's is to answer your question. I don't know that Bryce Harper is overrated. He's a good player, but he's not as good as he used to be. But it was disrespectful to go after the commissioner and I'm going to say this because I know he has become a mouthpiece for his agent, Scott Boras. Once Boras knows the commissioner's there, he's probably told other players, listen, you got to, find a way to object to a salary cap because really that hurts the agent. And when all that nonsense came up at the beginning of the year of an extension, when going into the season, they had 7 years left. What are his last 3 or 4 years going to be like? And you want to think that's all Scott Boras. And then Bryce Harper realized it was stupid, and it made him look bad. But I think that is the idea of Scott Boras to have one of his players, and Bryce Harper does what he wants. And Bryce Harper was the mouthpiece for Scott Boras.
That is a great take because I know Scott. I know him a little bit too. And you're right. He's always telling his guys to look out for the next guy, but he's always talking about the next guy under his wing. Nobody else. He's not talking about
I'm telling you,
else repping at IMG.
As soon as I heard that, I said, that's Scott Boras. That is Scott Boras. But he shouldn't have that disrespect. I mean, he shouldn't have that. It's not his place to object to that. Let the owners deal with it. Let the Players Association deal with it. And it is what it is. These guys have gotten a cakewalk for years. These 13-year contracts, which is his, Trey Turner's 10-year contract, and players are signing 10-year contracts. It's nonsense. It's nonsense. It's just, how do you know what the guy's going to do? But because they can push the money down the line, they're not worried about caps or any of that stuff. It just makes it better for all of baseball. Pittsburgh's not a bad team, but they can't keep. How are they going to keep? They got to keep Skeens. I mean, they got to keep that pitcher.
Yeah, it'll be tough though for them because of and it's a great. They've got a great ballpark, and like you and I, Howard, or me when I was a young kid, I don't ever remember the Pirates being awful and this not been able to hang in there because of the pay structure of baseball.
Yeah, but now they can't compete because of the money. Yeah. I don't know what Seattle's financial situation is, but the catcher is going to have a phenomenal year, and he hasn't been a free agent yet, right?
No, he's not been a free agent, and man, you're talking about a guy who's going to. I mean, if you gave Juan Soto $70 million, I mean, you got a guy who's going to hit 45 to 50 home runs as a catcher, and they're going to be an all-star catcher.
Wait a minute, 45 to 50 home runs. He's going to have high 50s. He's got 30?
Yeah, 39 or 38 at the break. So you're right. He's probably going to hit mid 50s or a higher 50s.
Yeah.
And he may break the record for catchers for home runs. I can't think of a 50 home run catcher in the history.
I'll tell you, no, I can't either. I'll tell you who's going to have 50 home runs if he changes teams.
Who?
Take a guess. You're never going to come up with this answer. I'm putting you on the spot. Kyle Schwarber, if he goes to Cincinnati, which is his hometown, free agent after this year. He's going to get $115, $120 million for 3 years. And the Phillies have two big contracts in Harper and Turner, and they're going to have to sign other people.
They're no way going to re-sign him. There's no way.
I'll tell you, it's going to be an outrage, but financially, and especially if they know there's going to be a cap down the line after next year. But forget about you can't worry about a salary cap. But Cincinnati's such a home run hitter's ballpark. Now, Citizens Bank Park is where the Phillies play, but Cincinnati is a tiny ballpark. If he went to Cincinnati, he would hit 50 home runs.
Imagine him in Boston.
Yeah, but it's the well, I guess if you hit it down the line, but it's just Ted Williams had a lot of home runs there. He played wall ball. With the left field the way
absolutely. Hey, Howard, listen, it is. Tell the folks where and when your next podcast is dropping, please.
Wednesday night, Eastern time, 7:30. So it's always live Wednesday at 7:30, and then it obviously lives on the on YouTube, and you subscribe to YouTube, and it notifies you when the show comes on. Wednesday at 7:30, Saturdays at 8 in the morning, because that's when I used to be on the radio, and people want to hear me on Saturday mornings, and it's on all the social media platforms, video and audio, and on Apple and Spotify and Amazon Music in an audio fashion. So Wednesday night's my next one at 7:30. I have another guest for you.
Ready? Let me hear it.
No, the guest during this show.
Where'd you get that? What is that?
I had in 2006, I think it was 2005 and 2006. I had these bobbleheads made up, real fur coat, and the necklace is not on there with the real diamond. I had these made up, 2 different style fur coats, 2 different years, and raised about $70,000 to $80,000 for charities because all the money went to charity. So I had these bobbleheads made up.
I love that thing, man. That is absolutely crazy. I love that. Howard, it's great catching up with you, my friend. I love you coming on the program. Thank you so much.
Anytime. Hey, have a great day.
I love chatting sports with Howard Eskin. You hear that, man? You just sit here and you get a chance to talk sports with our friend here, man. I love that. Make sure you check out his fabulous show. He has great guests. I know he's had Barkley on already. So if he's working on him again, that'll be another great guest. He always has. I mean, there's only one other guy that puts guests on like I do, and that's him. So make sure you check him out. Absolutely awesome day today, folks. I can't thank you guys enough for coming aboard here. Don't forget 2 to 6 tomorrow. Xander and Big Joe, thank you very much. To all of you out there, make sure you hit the like button. Thank you again. Tomorrow, 2 to 6. We'll see you on the flip side.